You're listening to the Epically Geeky Show, a place for all things geeky.
Welcome out to the Epically Geeky Show, episode number 88. I'm your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens, and I just realized it's episode 88, like the number of miles per hour you have to go back in time.
What?
I know, that just freaking happened. Tonight's opening question is, what was the best part of the additional things on a toy? Was it A, posters, B, catalogs, C, additional random items, or D, parts for larger figures? Ray.
Oh, you caught me off guard. I always loved the parts for larger figures. Like, that was the thing for the huge toys and stuff like that. And when you get all the parts all together and then you lose a part and then you're pissed off, and then you find it like years later underneath a chair and it doesn't matter because you already lost the whole thing. So
yep, exactly.
Yeah. But that's,
or it was you're like, you've got 4 of the 5 and you're like, I've got the arms and the legs, I just need the body.
So Logan's going through this right now because we can't the red Voltron anywhere.
No.
Oh no.
She's found one, but it's the small one. So she's got this tiny leg on one side. And the whole thing. So
it might work if it was an arm, but not a leg.
Right?
Yeah,
just
yeah.
It works out. Yeah. That's for me anyway.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God.
Chris, what was the best part of the extra things that they throw in with a toy?
I liked all the accessories.
Mm-hmm.
Just made it better. Made the toy more versatile. It's because I had a lot of Barbies growing up, so I liked all the little Barbie extra sets and
that's cool.
Yeah, all the outfits and her accoutrement and things like that, and her Barbie camper van and all the crap that came with that.
Even though you admitted to me that the Barbie stayed naked most of the time.
Listen, it was just easier, right?
Mine didn't. Mine had a different outfit for ever. Oh my God, I love dressing my Barbies. Half the time I wouldn't actually do anything with them. We would just dress them up and set up their house.
Yeah, and you mix and match outfits and you get the place.
90% of Barbies is not actually making them do anything. It's dressing them up, setting up their house.
And that's why little girls tend to have better fine motor skills than boys, because you had to fiddle with all the little buttons and snaps.
Have you seen the size of those buttons?
The shoes,
those buttons do not work.
Snaps.
No, yes, you're absolutely right.
And you have to take the teeny tiny flower pot and put it just perfectly on the tiny little end table.
Because the hardest thing we had was trying to fit the gun in the hand. But I mean, once you kind of wiggled it in there, it was, it was there. It was
just a hole and then a point. Just kind of
your choice.
Mashed it in there.
More force, better.
Yeah.
Get a bigger hammer. Yeah, exactly.
For real.
Right, Lainey, what was the best part for you? The extra stuff that was
the accessories, because the same reason I was a big Barbie kid for sure. I had so many Barbies, and I loved all the extra cool stuff they came with. I remember. I don't know why this was a thing. Barbie truly could do anything, and that includes owning a convenience store franchise. And I had I
didn't know about that one.
Really?
Oh, I have pictures of me playing with it. I had a Barbie convenience store. It was like a 7-Eleven.
Mm-hmm.
And she would make. Yep. See, she could have Slurpees and she would sell pretzels. And, yeah. But it came with a little Slurpee, and the inside of the Slurpee was reversible, so it could be grape or it could be cherry. Dude,
well, that's some next level toy stuff. That's awesome.
We're next level shit right there.
Yeah. You don't understand. I love the play sets were my favorite. The convenience store, the school, I had 2 different barns.
So you would have got into Polly Pockets then.
We'll talk about that later.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Tipping of the hand. Parker has joined us again. What was your favorite pack in on a toy?
I would have to say the accessories as well, but mine's more action figure military stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many guns. You could fit different turrets on the Humvee. There was just so many different, like, I guess, like loadouts with your troop, and it was just that definitely made it fun. Just to have different types of ways you could kill other fake people was the best. I was like, hey, he has a grenade launcher this time. It's like, oh, now he has an M16.
There you go.
Now he has a flamethrower. Now he has this. And yeah.
You were that kid. I used to play, my friend Alex and I used to, like, when I would come to their house, like, for a couple weeks in the summer, I would bring a bunch of Barbies, and he always had a bunch of G.I. Joes. So we'd always play, like, Barbie joins the army. And I used to get really pissed off because that's all he ever wanted to do. He's like, well, now we actually have to, like, go fight. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
you have to set up the base camp. Like, the MREs have to go on the table a certain way. Yeah, I used to get really
annoyed. Yeah, my sister had Barbies. She was older than me. So we were stereotypical, you know, G.I. Joe would steal Barbie away. They'd get married, and then, you know.
We never got that far. We were yelling at each other.
Yeah, he would go and rescue Barbie in some military outpost and, you know, stuff like that. And then eventually I'd rip off the head and she died or whatever. You know.
You're such a dick. Mine was always like a Private Benjamin kind of a deal. You know what I mean? You got to see if she's going to make it in the army. Hilarious. She never did, because we always ended up
like
fighting.
G.I. Jane or?
Yeah. No, it was Private Benjamin. Specifically.
Right. So yes, accessories made different loadouts the best.
Nice.
So you kill the bad guys better.
Mm-hmm.
True. Something about, I mean, I loved all of it, but something about, so you'd get those catalogs, and sometimes they were, you know, they'd fold out. Sometimes they were posted on one side and catalog there, but you get those catalogs and you'd see the other things that, you know, were available, and it's just like, oh my god, they got this one. Oh my god, they have this one. And my brother and I would just sit there and like stare at them and look at them for like, just, you know, it was, it wasn't necessarily just planning, oh, that's what we want to get next. It was just, you know, kind of seeing what the possibilities were or whatever. I wish that I could, you know, every so often I come across some of those old things online, and I just sit there and look through them. I'm just sitting there going through this PDF online. I'm just like, I remember that.
They were like the teaser trailer to like the big, like Toys R Us catalog.
Exactly. Yes, that's pretty much so. Because a lot of times they would also have them
like theory craft about what you were going to get.
Yeah.
Well, they would usually have them in some kind of a diorama, so that, you know, it wasn't like, you know, they were just sitting there on a table. It was like, you know, they actually had like a little mountain built up, and they actually had the characters there. It was just like, oh, that's awesome looking. I should do something like that instead of just,
and then you find out that that's 10 different play sets put together.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're like, oh.
See, my parents never, like, I love them dearly, and they gave me a great childhood, but they didn't understand sets. They'd give you, well, you already have one of those, so get something else. Like, that's how they viewed it. And thankfully, they kind of started understanding with Skylanders, of like
when you got really into Skylanders, yeah.
Because then they would just grab anything Skylander wise, and usually we didn't have the one that they grabbed, so it was okay.
That's fun. See, I'm literally the opposite. Like the Play School Ghostbuster sets that came out just a year or so ago, which, by the way, were freaking awesome.
Cool.
No, okay. I was never a Play School kid. Like, I was firmly in the Lego camp, and then when these came out, I was like, "Wow, these are actually really cool. Like, this is awesome."
Sweet, man.
My boys were missing 2 of the sets. I went and picked them up this week because I was like,
Eugene,
we are not going to not have all the sets.
We're not going to be that family.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Which is actually leads in really well to why we're having the topic for tonight. Because I went and picked them up and got them for a percentage off at Toys R Us, which announced last week, but officially went into the death spiral, as it were, this week. So it's really interesting. Yeah, I know, right? It's really interesting. There are several things online that I've watched talking about, you know, kind of the lifespan of Toys R Us and this, that, and the other, and so on and so forth. But for me, KB Toys was always the one that I went to more so. Like, we didn't have a Toys R Us in Killeen like until I was like in high school. So KB Toys was more so the thing. But like, we would go to Toys R Us once a year, like usually before Christmas. That's when my brother and I would like kind of finalize our Christmas wish list or whatever. but to honor Toys R Us and its passing, tonight we're gonna do a draft. I love doing the drafts on this show. They always seem to be fun. And
so fun.
What I tasked the group with tonight is I told everyone, I said, okay, so you're going to be creating your own toy store. Now you're going to have, a smattering of the traditional stuff. So you'll have a little bit of everything, but you're going to be known for certain things. And we have a magic supplier that can pretty much get you anything from any time. So with that said, everyone's going to get 5 rounds to draft 5 specific things. Action figures, stuffed animals, toy gun. I mean, pretty much everything except for video game consoles were playable. But you do have to pick the series. Now, if it's not a specific series, that's fine. Like kind of maybe the era that it came out, we'll classify as well. And to make sure no one just sat there and chose 5 different versions of Lego or 5 different versions of G.I. Joe throughout time. I told everyone you could have a maximum of 2 series from any particular toy line. So that's what we're going to do tonight. My boys and I sat down with some dice earlier today, even though I had to keep telling them, no, keep re-rolling, because you keep rolling 5s. But so we came up with a draft list, and the way that's going to go for the first round is it's me, then Chris, then Lainey, then Ray, then Parker. Traditional draft rule.
And I'm calling out Eugene on this one. I'm sure that they rolled you a 1.
Yeah.
Anyway,
luck happened out that way. I don't know.
For the second round, we'll shift over, and it'll be Ray, Lainey. It'll be Chris, Lainey, Ray, Parker, then myself. So I'll be going last on the next round, and we'll keep going until we get to the last round. On the 5th round, Parker should be first, and I should be last. Yeah.
What'd you call it? European rotation.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Oh, God.
Within the shooting world, it's called European rotation.
Okay, then we'll go. Oh, well, there you go.
Just fun
I
fact.
learned
For that.
So with that said, for my first round draft pick, I had to get a model to demonstrate. It's technically not the exact one, but I am going for Generation 1 Transformers.
I knew he was going to piss off.
That's not a shock to anybody.
Yeah, that is not a shock to anyone.
That and a bulldozer would not be it.
I was really hoping he'd go with the Ghostbusters first.
Oh, I knew it was Transformers. I knew.
Oh, for sure.
Ghostbusters.
I was
That's
hoping
the background, guys.
Next round is Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. So that's my first pick. Of all the toys, I had He-Man, I had G.I. Joes, I had Star Wars. The only two toys really that I really kind of kept up with, and no, I take that. Well, no, I still have some of the Dino Rider stuff, but for the most part, I still have my Legos from as a kid, and I still have this big box up in my attic that has most of my G1 Transformers. A lot of them are not very good condition because they got played with like every single day. But yeah, G1 Transformers are still hands down my favorite toy ever made.
Soundwave. I remember Soundwave being one of the awesome ones just because of how creative it was. And then
I've heard you guys talk about that Soundwave one like multiple times.
Yeah, and then you had the Dinobots in that generation. You had Fortress Maximus, which was huge and awesome. And then not to mention Devastator. So,
It'll be fine. It'll be okay.
No, it won't, but whatever.
It'll be okay.
Nothing's ever fine.
So, second pick for round 1 goes to Chris. Chris, what is your pick?
Okay.
Your first pick.
My mom bought me very gender-specific toys as a child. So
okay,
I picked toys that I just played with, that I remember playing with. And I realized as I was writing it, I'm like, good Lord, this is just a lot of girl toys. I'm
so glad that wasn't just me. I was so scared that Chris was going to be so much cooler than I was, and I felt like such an idiot.
Why is that? That's not cooler necessarily.
I was like, wow, these are a lot of girl toys.
Yeah, lots of girl toys. Yeah, and that's just because my mom tried to raise us as girly girls, and it totally backfired on her when I was a child.
And then I got a lot of boy toys. Is that bad for me?
No. I think it's the era that we grew up in.
Yeah, we're a product of our generation for sure.
Yeah, so stop stereotyping. It's fine.
Shut up.
My first pick is Polly Pockets, but the early 90s run when they were actually compact and
yes, they were like that big and they looked like a little heart.
I had 5 sets and all the different colors, but I loved that Polly was this little and she stuck in, and if she didn't stick in, you were pissed because that hole's supposed to fit her stupid feet. And then if she bent too much and she wouldn't stand up, that would piss me off. But I liked that they showed the commercial of it actually fitting in
the pocket.
Sometimes it took a couple of tries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we as boys had the same problem with things like G.I. Joe and Star Wars, because on the heel they had the little hole, and
circle.
Then, on some of the toys they had the little pin, and you're like, that's where the foot goes there. And
no, it's a hexagon on there. And
I was like, why?
Fit in the circle.
No, it didn't.
You had to jam that fucker on, and
it would break off eventually, and then it was stuck in the foot.
Circle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had this specific issue with my Polly Pockets I had a cat that would always like come and hang out in my playroom with me when I was a kid, and she would she would chew on the bottoms of the Polly Pockets, and then they really didn't fit.
Oh, yeah.
She used to do that to my Barbie doll's feet too, which was a big pain in my ass.
Crap cat.
Yeah, I was like, really?
Somebody loves cats, by the way.
I love cats, but it used to really piss me off. I was like, God damn it!
See, none of my cats ever chewed on toys. It was my dogs that always chewed on the toys.
Dogs didn't give a shit. My dogs did not care about toys. It was just Stubby the cat.
All right. Next up is.
I have a question for Chris.
Yes.
Chris, did you have the set where it was a little bit longer. It was like long and like an oval, and then you opened it. It was like the mall. Did you have that one?
I think I did. Did it have the elevator in it, the up and down?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I needed somebody to confirm for me that existed.
Yeah. Wasn't it like a magenta color, the oval?
Yeah. It was kind of like, some of them were magenta and some of them were purple. Because my friend had the same one and hers was magenta, but mine was purple.
I think I had the magenta one.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Oh, God. Whew.
All right, Lainey, you have the next pick.
Hi. So my first one is going to be Sky Dancers.
What?
I was too old for Sky Dancers. There you go.
See, I was born in 1990, so Sky Dancers were like right.
Was that the thing that they sat on a pole and you pulled it and they spun? I remember the commercials for those.
They sat on a stand. Mm-hmm. And they looked like little fairies, and they had like
that's what those were called.
They would fly out, and you could.
Right.
Those were amazing. Yeah. They were everything a little girl and maybe a little closeted gay boy really, really wanted, because they were beautiful. They had height. They had movement. They always had like these ridiculous, like the stands were always ridiculous. I remember I had one that was like a moon that had like a smiley face. It was purple and had flowers all over it. And I had another one that was like a Pegasus, like on a shooting star. And like, they were always tons of colors. Oh.
I always wondered, why do they do that to the helicopters? Because that's just a helicopter toy, but they just...
Because they had to market it. Oh my God. I had so many of these and I loved them. And you could totally get, if you were like me and all of your cousins that were your age were boys, and you had friends on your block that were boys, you could totally get them to play with them too, because you could shoot them at each other.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. They were so beautiful. And
shoot them out my sister.
Yeah, see? And I'm sure Lauren loved that.
Yeah, because you point it down and you could pull it up and it would...
You could wreck somebody with one of those.
They hurt.
So my little cousin hit me in the mouth once when we were playing with him at my grandparents' house, and I got a bloody lip. Like, it was bad.
Wow.
Dylan did that. Dylan did that to me.
I have adult brain going on right now for this toy, because the only thing I can think of is, I'm not buying that damn toy. As soon as the kid walks out there and pulls it, it's going to go, and there it goes over the fence.
See, I was
done.
That's the thing. I took pretty good care of my toys. And I was terrified of like losing one of them. And so I rarely took them outside and in my own backyard. I would take them either into the front yard and point them away from the street, or I would take it to my grandparents' house because they don't have a fenced-in yard. So if it like went over to the patio, you just walked over and got it.
True. Yeah.
Very
so I was.
Good point.
I was a very cautious child when it came to my toys. I really didn't want to lose anything or break anything. Go figure.
Boys. Why would you want them to get ruined? Yeah.
I don't know. All the boys in my neighborhood had like pieces of everything. None of them ever had anything that worked. It was like, oh yeah, I lost a part for it. I'm like, well then why are you allowed to have toys?
Oh yeah, I have taught my boys know that you respect your toys. Like that's a thing. So.
Oh, and have you ever seen Toy Story?
Yeah, Toy Story kind of changed the game. So.
Come on.
Next up is Ray. Ray, what is your first pick?
All right, I'm gonna have to go with Lego Star Wars, and like
that is a good one.
Just because of how good they are right now, and I'm gonna pick this era because they are pulling stuff out from all eras right now, and they're making some really good stuff. And I love the like for the minifigures, all the way up to you get the AT-AT, and yeah, there's some really cool stuff going on with the Star Wars Lego right now, and Quinn can't get enough of it. And
oh yeah, he loves Lego.
And of all the Lego sets, that's the one that just seems to keep pumping out more stuff all the time. So, yeah,
I love Lego. I always have. And when they first started introducing the Star Wars ones, I had to make a promise to myself that I would not buy them because I was like, this is going to cost me a lot of money very quickly. And when you look at some of those super sets, those like $2,000 sets, I'm just like,
yeah.
That I would have been that person and been like, well, I have all 199 of them. I need the 200th one, right?
As well.
Makes sense to me.
So Logan wanted the Millennium Falcon so bad, the Lego one. And we're like, kiddo, look at the price. And so she did, and she's like,
oh. Never mind.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Like, sorry, kiddo. Yeah. Love you. But
not that much.
Not quite.
So we told her, if she saved up her money for half, then we'd pay for the other half. And
but your cousin gave us
then we got the Millennium Falcon.
Big ass fucking Millennium Falcon that their kids didn't play with anymore.
Yeah, it's from the early 2000s.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. My nephew Jameson has it, and I was like,
it lights up and everything.
I have one of the smaller ones. I mean, it's one of the remakes, but I have one of the smaller ones.
That
thing is huge. That thing is awesome.
Yeah, it's enormous.
When we first got it from my cousin, my Quinn couldn't even carry it. Like it's so big.
Aww.
He was so little. I put it down on the ground for him, and then he was good.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So, but anyway, that's the one that I've always wanted was the Death Star for Lego. Like it looks so awesome.
That's the cream of the crop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you wince a little bit in Amazing Spider-Man when his
Homecoming
friend drops it?
Yep.
I mean, yeah, and Homecoming, yeah.
That hurt.
That did hurt. Yeah, exactly. What are you doing? Of course, I guess that would be, finding out your best friend is Spider-Man would kind of cause you to be like, okay, that's So, yeah, that's funny. All right, Parker, what's your first round pick?
So my first round pick is Green Army Men. The classic Army Men. Because I played with those all the time. That was my thing. I built things for them to have like defenses, and I incorporated every other toy in the world with them. Like dinosaurs were playing, we're fighting with them, but they were the mainstay. Yeah. Green Army Men got me through so many play games.
So, would that be your favorite characters in the Toy Story movies? Would be the Army Men?
Yeah, that was so cool to see them in the movies. Yeah,
I love the way they're portrayed in the movie.
Yeah, that's exactly how they should have been portrayed. Serious. They were Army guys. That was what they were. That was their job. They got stuff done. Yeah, they had like tan versus the green.
Yep.
Sides. Yeah, and then as I got older, I get like bug spray and a lighter, and then like put it next to
you were that guy.
One, and then he would like burn the other guy, and then get firecrackers and like put them between their legs and blow them up as like a grenade went off, other stuff like that. But
oh my god,
yeah, I did some of that too.
Yeah, but
it's like a 2-cent toy. If you're gonna blow up a toy, that's the one to blow up.
That's because they're in war.
Didn't blow up my toys.
War is terrible.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that's I've probably spent hundreds of hours playing with those. That's got to be my top pick for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So we're moving on to round 2. First pick on round 2 is Chris.
Take it away.
So I am going to pick She-Ra, but the first wave, which came out in 1985. So that was with the Crystal Castle, that was with Bo, that was with Swift Storm, I think that's her horse's name, Swift Wind, all of those. Because I had the Crystal Castle, and I had Swift Wind, and I had Bo. I liked Bo. And the original She-Ra. And then after that, I think it was too much, and I stopped. That's also when the show, I think the show got canceled too, around that time. And I stopped watching it. But yeah, so She-Ra, the first wave, 1985.
Yep. That was
solid.
That was one of those toys. That's like, well, this is clearly a girl's toy.
Oh, yeah.
But it goes with He-Man. So
well.
Do you collect it or not?
Yes.
Or that was tricky. Like, if you were going to be a boy's boy, that was one of those toys that was tricky. It was like, am I supposed to be buying this? It's the package looks exactly the same.
Yeah, and then because Aurora and Adam are brother and sister.
Exactly.
Yeah. Although I thought they should get married. I was pretty devastated when I found out they were brother and sister.
But you could just pretend they're not, and they
Yeah.
get.
I did. It's still in the back
I'm
of my
sure you
house.
did. Yeah, it's
We
fine.
all did. It's fine.
Yeah.
This is an alternate universe where they're not.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, guys.
It's called imagination.
Yeah. Chill.
That's hilarious. Lainey, you have the next pick.
I do. So my next pick is going to be a toy that I spent a lot of time with as a child, and that would be a Skip It.
No, that was on.
Skip it! Damn it!
Hang on, which era?
Oh, which one?
The one that came out like 96, 97.
Did it have a counter?
It had a counter on it.
Shit.
Yes, it did. And it
Although
was
I'm sure
awesome.
Well, because you had to see who was better.
I was summer of 1998.
Block champion.
I was the block champion. I
Nice.
sure was. I had like 400 something skips in a row,
Oh,
uninterrupted. I didn't fuck around. I am not a coordinated child, but I can skip it.
Me at 9 years old would kick your 9-year-old ass.
And my 9-year-old ass would probably gladly take it because I would be like, Chris is so cool. I'm just glad she
Oh
likes
no, I
me."
was not. I was a little shithead when I was 9. No way, man. I was a fucking.
But no, I had a hot
Just you,
pink
maybe.
one. Okay, you can come hang out.
Yeah. If
There's I have popsicles in my garage. My dad put a pair of scissors on the freezer outside, so we don't even have to go in.
Nice.
Yeah, he did. That was ingenious on his part. But no, I loved that thing.
Oh yeah, I loved mine too.
Oh my god! Like, did it wasn't like tread, but they put like there was like a black
Yeah.
crack on the outside. I wore mine down. I used that thing until it broke. I loved my Skip It. I used it all the time. But like I said, I was not a coordinated kid, so that was like vindication that I could do that.
We were allowed to bring them to school. So
Yes,
I
I
lived
brought
across
mine
the
to
street
school.
from my
Yeah,
public school.
we're doing recess. Yeah.
Yeah, and you'd bring them out at recess.
Mhm.
And yeah, all my friends and I would just be skipping it like idiots.
So talk
thing.
about build quality though. Like toys are usually meant to be broken, right? And I remember the Skip It being able to actually
it stood up.
they
It took a
stood up.
lot.
I had mine till I was 13.
I mean, you were able to kick it because you would mess up, and you were able to kick it. And I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that thing. I do think though that Skip It's are the reason that I can't jump rope correctly.
Yeah, I could see how that would mess with it.
Yeah, I do. I still I go like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 when I'm jump rope. I cannot jump rope correctly, and if I use both feet, I double jump. I can't. I'm impossible. Absolutely impossible. But yes, Skip It for sure. Oh my god, I miss those. I want one.
I had a pink Skip It.
If I
My
found
pink
one, she would incorporate it into her workout regime again.
I would.
There you go.
I would.
That's the next workout fad.
I
Yeah.
would.
For an hour straight. That's some serious cardio.
I would do that, and I would bring it to school too, and do it while I was like teaching. I'm sure because
And all the kids are looking at you like, what's wrong with her? Why is she
we could talk. We could do it for like a physics lesson. They would love
Yeah,
that.
right.
Parker just wants one to keep people away from him. So as he's walking, he's
swinging it around.
You just kind of go forward and just keep.
Hang on, because now I'm picturing the guy, the prancing workout. That's now what I'm picturing is
Perfect.
Parker running down skipping.
hilarious.
I'm into that. Love it.
I'm not mad at that.
I wouldn't be either. Ray, what's your second pick?
All right. I have to pull from the 70s for this one.
Baby.
Wow.
70s era Hot Wheels.
Wow,
You're
that's a
not
good
wrong.
pick.
You can't get better than that for Hot Wheels because they were
die-cast, weren't they?
die-cast metal, and most of them are now. But the quality build back then was awesome.
They were heavy.
They were. In fact, there's actually a guy on YouTube that like redoes them, right? Like they're all beat up and all that stuff, and he actually takes the hammer and smooths them all out and
Wow, really?
sand them all down and then paints them. He gives them nice paint color and all that stuff now. So he even orders like the new glass for it and everything, so that the new plastic goes inside. It's crazy.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
yeah. So and he shows you the whole build, right? So that's what reminded me of it. I'm like, yeah, I spent hours and hours and hours, like just days of my life are gone from just building all these pathways in the garden. And like we'd be driving through highways and stuff like that, and I'd have a garage out in one spot and out of like planks of wood or cardboard or whatever we could get my hands on. And yeah, the time wasted on that was huge. And then you had the whole tracks, like the different tracks that you had. Somebody made that whole video of the different cars racing, and you had the Back to the Future car. You had the Hot Wheels.
Awesome.
Awesome. The other cool thing too is that they got a little creative, right? And they would put like the two engines in front of each other, and somebody actually tried to figure out how to make it, and they actually did make it work. So there is a car out there based on the two engine.
Oh, that's crazy.
Or is it the 4-engine one? There's another one that's a 4-engine. But anyway, it's awesome.
That's awesome.
My boys are like really big into Hot Wheels right now. So they've been playing. They have a iPad game that they play constantly.
Yeah.
But then they've gotten some more of the Hot Wheels track. And when I was a kid, I never got any of the tracks. My brother and I would take we had a big bucket of crayons, and we'd set the crayons out and make tracks that way. So. Yeah. Going back to Parker's Army Men pick, that's one of those versatile toys that you just kind of fits with everything. It's like, okay, well I can make a track on this, or now my car's going to go on the wall, and so.
Well, I remember so many times we'd have an action figure of some sort, and then we pretend that they get in the car, and then we'd be driving the car and racing through and all that stuff, and then we get out of the car with the action figure and carry the story with that. So
your mom still has some of your Hot Wheels.
Oh yeah, they're still around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, they last forever. That's the other part that I love.
Oh
yeah.
The ones
And they held up to clumsy kids.
Yeah.
Well, they did, except they didn't hold up to the ones that I'd made convertibles.
Oh, well, yeah. You found a way to, change the story.
Found my dad's side cutters and just
There you go.
10 snips.
Sean in the chat says he pretty much the same thing as Ray. He said, in fact, he thinks his parents used the sandbox and Hot Wheels as a babysitter.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Oh my God.
That's what Transformers were to my parents. It was like, this is an investment in time.
Go play.
Yep.
Parker, what's your next pick?
My next pick are Pogs.
Oh.
Did
Wow,
you actually
really?
play with Pogs?
Oh, yes.
Remember Pogs.
Oh,
I remember
yes.
Pogs. I never got into Pogs.
I never did either.
I
Yeah,
never knew what to do with them.
I had
Alf.
I had sleeves. I had the protective sleeves. I had like the big
God.
slammers. You'd slam them down. The whole 9 yards. Pogs were such a weird
Nerd.
thing of. I loved. I don't know why, but
He's judging you.
You're totally being judged right now. Yeah.
So
anyway, I'm not ashamed. Pogs were amazing for like 3 years, and then no one ever played them ever again.
Oh, they kind of just vanished, didn't they?
Yeah, but yeah, I had like the big one, and then you had like the smaller one with all the ones that had the holographic tops on them. You had another big sleeve for all your slammers.
So yeah, they were big. You got to explain to me how the hell it works, because I don't know. I knew that the Pogs were there, and I knew that you got them if you won, but that's all I know.
So you got them if you were able to flip. They had a face and a back. So if you're able to flip one over, and you were playing a game for keeps, there was different games. You had like games for fun or games for keeps.
Yeah.
You're playing for keeps. You're able to flip them over. You were to keep that one, and then you kept putting one in the middle to make a stack.
So you'd throw another Pog on it. Is that the idea?
If the stack was really low, you would get another Pog and try to pop it and make it flip over, and then you would take it. But once the stack started getting bigger, if you were able to do that, you kept stacking them up. That's when you got these plastic or metal ones, and they were called slammers, and you would slam it down and kind of blow the pile. All the ones that were flipped over, you took them.
Gotcha.
That was the game.
Oh yeah, I know there was a bunch of kids in my school, in my class even, that were into it. I just
remember
never
them at recess doing that.
Yeah, and I'd go off and be on the football team because I was the big kid. So.
Oh yeah, I was not. So Pogs were. I spent a lot of time playing Pogs. A lot of fun, and like every businesses and stuff had Pogs for like 2 or 3 years. Like Pogs were everywhere.
Oh, I remember, yeah.
And so you would try to find Pogs, and said the good ones were the ones that were like holographic or like weird designs, and there was like plastic ones that were thicker that would use to kind of So it's such a fun. Because no one really ever talks about Pogs, and I love Pogs because it's such a weird little thing that happened. And I lost a lot of Pogs to the older kids that were way better at it and swindled me out of Pogs. So,
like pool sharked you out of Pogs.
For real. That was a thing. So, but yeah, Pogs would have to be my next pick because Pogs need more love.
Gotcha.
Sorry about that.
My next pick is I'm gonna go ahead and bump up against that rule of a maximum of 2 series of any toy line, and I'm gonna pick.
You're gonna break your own rule?
Yeah.
Really?
Really?
No, I said we could have a maximum of 2, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick my second one of this toy line. I already picked G1 Transformers.
Oh my god.
G2.
I was really trying to figure out if I were going to pick the Masterpiece Transformers, but the problem is there aren't as many of them in the U.S. and importing them. I've only imported one of them. I imported Megatron, and it ran me like $200 or $300.
You imported that?
Yes, because it transforms into a Walter pistol, which will not fly in the U.S. So,
wait a minute, though, just while you're talking about this is your fantasy store that you're running, and you're not going to pick that?
No, I'm not going to pick that. What I am going to pick is the Transformers Generations toys. The reason why I'm picking the Generations is when this series started out, when they started coming out with these, they are inspired by the original G1 Transformers, but they're built a hell of a lot better. They're not die cast; they are plastic. But like, let's take Optimus Prime for example. His gun is part of him. Like, part of it comes off, transforms into the gun. So there's no gun to lose. His hands flip out. They're not separate pieces that everyone lost.
Like
True.
Yes. But also, like, a lot of the joints are ball and socket joints. I have let my boys, I have 2, like a bunch of them back here behind me. My boys will play with them and go, Dad, I think I broke it. And I'm like, oh, no, hold on. Good to go. Whereas with the Generation 1 Transformers that I grew up with, oh, the arm came off. Well, done for. Guess what? You've got a worn arm Transformer, because even if you super glue it, it is not going to ever work again.
I was going to say it was either one armed or super glued into that position forever.
We did that with Barbie dolls. If the legs came off, Barbie's an amputee.
Yep.
It's not
The biggest problem.
Never had that problem.
Yeah, the biggest problem with the Transformers, I mean, if it was a G.I. Joe or something like that, okay, so the arm doesn't move anymore. The problem with the Transformer is well, now it doesn't transform, and that's the whole fun. So it's
it transforms. It's always part way through transformation.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Perpetually transforming.
Yeah.
Look, it's a car with an arm sticking out on the side.
Looks like one of those toys from like Sid's backyard in Toy Story.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe that's where Michael Bay got the idea from one of the scenes in the newer. I know they don't exist, Eugene, but anyway, it was so bad. It was so bad.
Even Quinn, who loves action movies, is like, what am I watching?
He was like, dude, this sucks.
He hated
We
it.
finished it, but it was. It took a couple of days.
Yeah. It was in the back.
That's hilarious. You had to take breaks in between.
It was bad.
It was super bad.
All right, so that was my second pick.
They got into a little bit of a Suicide Squad moment, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Anyway.
Okay.
Lainey, you have first pick for round number 3.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and go for it. This is like kind of my big kahuna. But I'm going to say Barbie dolls spanning from about 94 to 2000.
Okay.
Holy shit. This was like the best time for Barbie dolls. My dolls did everything. I'm talking glitter hair Barbie. I'm talking Hawaiian sparkle beach Barbie. I'm talking fucking Western diamond rodeo Barbie. Holy shit. My Barbie
Have
was
you watched The Toys That Made Us on Netflix yet?
Not yet, but I need to. I feel like
really
I'm going to cry.
So when you say 90s Barbies, I'm trying to remember back from that episode, and I'm thinking, yeah, that was when they said that was like the time. That was the big time for Barbie.
Gymnast Barbie? Holy shit. That girl did flips and shit. It was awesome and had the best leotard. I had jewel hair mermaid Barbie. I had like the equestrian Barbie too, that like actually wore like real like English, right? She came with like an English riding saddle. I had the horse to go with it. I had a bunch of Barbie horses.
Like, actually, this Barbie doesn't really have the right riding crap in the.
Listen, that was right around the time that I started taking like real riding lessons, and I love the fact that I also had a fuck off. I had a Barbie doll that did the same thing that I did. It was really cool.
Am I wrong?
That's awesome.
No, shut up.
See, now he's judging you.
Yeah.
Always judging me.
See, the thing about Barbie to me always was like, you know, there was always usually is like 2 aisles in the Toys R Us. There was 2 aisles for quote unquote girl toys, and one had just random stuff, and on one like maybe one wall was certain things, but one wall was nothing. But
I miss that. I miss
Barbie
like,
commanded space.
Barbie I used to walk down that thing like I was walking into Disney World, and just big eyes, all excited. It was so much fun. But they
out of Barbies now. We're totally
it's not a thing. None of the kids that I work with play with Barbie.
Logan did. Logan was really into Barbie.
Oh, she was
till about last year, and then now
she
still has a couple. She doesn't really play with them.
No, even last year it was.
Yeah, but she's out of them now.
Yeah.
Our friend Jennifer actually has a collection she's trying to figure out what to do with. She's thinking about selling them. She was asking me, she's like, what would be the best way to sell them? I'm like,
I got rid of a lot of mine. I've kept a few. Yeah, I got rid of a lot of them.
I know where there's a museum.
Yeah, I could probably donate some stuff to him, actually. I had some that I kept just because they were really special to me, and if I ever have kids, I want to give them the opportunity to play with those because they were awesome. But I will never forget this. I had a teacher Barbie, and she came with like a whole like classroom set and everything. I swear to God, if I could remake that dress that she had, I would, and I would totally wear it because it was super bomb. It was awesome.
That would be awesome. That would be an awesome cosplay.
She had these big Sally Jesse Raphael red glasses. Oh my God, I loved it so much. But I remember like as I got a little bit older, like I think it was like 8 or 9, like I was getting like 9-10 years old, people kind of started expecting you to like stop playing with Barbies. I played with them for a while.
Fun.
Well, I know, but like around like I think the last ones that I remember like getting, they came out with these ones called like they were like the Generation Girl, whatever, but they had the best outfits. They were all supposed to be like teenage like age, like 16, 17. They had the best outfits. They each like did something cool. Like Barbie was like a videographer, and like one of them was like a musician, and the other one was like an artist, and another one was like a producer. They were amazing. Okay.
Nice.
They were so cool. So, but yeah, Barbies were my jam. I was all in on the Barbies. That was what I was all about. In fact, a couple of years ago, my mom realized, like, I think, like, oh God, it's probably like almost 10 years ago now, that she accidentally gave away my like Sabrina the Teenage Witch Barbie.
Oh.
And I was like heartbroken because it was one of my favorite ones. So she actually went on eBay and found me another one.
Nice.
That's not bad.
Good old eBay.
So yes, I do have her. She has her spell book, and she comes with a little Salem the cat. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
Salem. He was so snarky.
He was the best.
He was pretty awesome.
So, but yeah, that's for sure. In my toy store, I would have a Barbie aisle like the days of yore.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because holy shit, that bitch did everything, and it was awesome. God.
Ray, what's your next pick?
All right. So I was just trying to find some of the names but I won't be able to find it right now. But anyway, I also have an era where they went absolutely crazy and made every kind of version of this toy back and like anything you could think of, they made it. So that is the 90s, early 90s of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I knew you were going to say it. As soon as you said variations of everything, I was like, it's got to be TMNT.
Well, that goes off my list.
Dude, there were so many of them. And so that particular era, the ones that I remember playing with is the Turtle Blimp, the Undercover Ralph.
Oh, I remember the blimp.
I remember these.
The pizza thrower,
the
party wagon, like
the van. I love
the
that.
van was awesome. We played with all those.
Yeah.
My friend across the street from me when I lived as a kid, he had the sewer and everything, so you'd have to like drop.
Oh, that's awesome,
Daniel. Yeah, so we'd like go. No, I'll tell you later. Doesn't matter who it was. So yeah, he had that, and we'd be we'd be playing for hours with it, and we're having all the different characters and all that stuff. But my favorite was the Undercover Ralph because it reminded me of the movie when he's walking.
Oh, with the trench coat.
Yeah, he had the trench coat, and they had the other ones as well. But Ralph was my favorite just because it matched the movie so well. So yeah,
awesome.
Growing up, I hated the variations. I was just like, this is just trying to get my mate. As an adult now, I'm like, nope, variations are cool.
Yeah.
Here.
Take my money.
It's a repaint of the exact same toy I already own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go and get it.
But he's got a trench coat this time.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
But she comes with a hat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Simpsons.
Exactly.
I cannot tell you how many times, like, even though I have a Masterpiece Optimus Prime, I cannot tell you how many times I almost pulled the trigger on buying a second one just because it has literally smokestacks that are about that much taller because they cut them down on the American version because, someone might put their eye out or some BS like that. And I was like, I want the fucking tall smokestacks. But no, I'm not going to spend that money to do that.
So you and I are the opposite because back as a kid, I wanted all those different versions. Now I'm looking like it's the same fucking toy, just repainted.
Because you're a parent. I feel like that's what parents do. They're like, no.
Bullshit. They're just trying to get my money.
They're just trying to get my money.
I'm
you
not.
can paint that yourself.
I was going to say, right? I'll paint it for you.
I see you.
That's hilarious.
I see through you, corporate America.
Capitalist bullshit.
This way they can learn a new skill of painting. Okay?
Right.
There you go.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Parker, what's your next pick?
So, speaking of painting, mine is going to have to
old
be
man.
Warhammer 40K.
Oh.
Wow.
I spent quite a bit of time and a lot of allowance money buying Warhammer figurines and spending hours painting them. Because half the fun of buying them and was painting them. Like, yeah, playing with them, that was one thing, setting up battles, the whole thing. But painting them, that was the real fun. Sit down, you get to pick like what clan. I was Space Marines. So my clan was Ultramarines, so they were blue. So I painted them blue and figuring out all the different, like the captains and the chaplains and all the different types of people, painting them. Yes.
But it took a long time.
Yeah. So you had to like different size brushes, different like 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 different paints. Figuring out, the different ones had different paints, like the shoulders had different colors than the main body armor and the flags, and yeah.
I'm literally about to start. I never really got into any of that stuff, and I really wish I had, because now that I'm trying to start painting these 3D printed Catan board pieces, I'm just like,
yeah,
why didn't I ever pick up that skill?
Yeah, and then you could get like the different like the base of the actual unit. You could paint them like they were all like in a grass area, or they were all in a rocky area, or they were all in a desert, or tundra, and then maybe that would affect also their armor. So maybe you'd like kind of distress their armor some to kind of make them fit in. Yeah. And those would also kind of come into play with other things I was playing with if I didn't have enough, and I would kind of just sub in different things. But Warhammer 40K, a lot of money, a lot of time, and just a whole lot of fun. And a lot of friends as well.
Hey, you want to come over and play? Yeah, sure. What are we going to do? We're going to paint.
We're going to play Warhammer 40K. So get your ruler and get your dice, because we're having some fun, okay?
Oh, my God.
I'm going to go play with those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles over there.
Yeah.
That are already painted.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have.
So, yeah, that's that has to be another one, because I spent a lot of time, a lot of effort into those, and immensely satisfying, I have to say.
Good deal. I have the next pick, and I'm gonna have to pick this one for nostalgia. I may end up going back to picking the other one anyway, but oh
my Lord,
I really wish I still had these toys, especially now because of my boys. But I'm picking the real Ghostbusters, because those were some badass toys.
Yes,
you had your chance.
I never had the Firehouse, but I had the Ecto and loved the Ecto. I had all 4 of the guys. Had Stay Puft. When they started getting, once again, remember, I didn't really care for some of, I didn't really care for variations. So when they started doing some of the alternate versions, I wasn't into them so much. But yeah, I freaking love those toys. I love the fact that I love the fact that you could put the it kind of fit around the arm or whatever, the whole arm or whatever, but they had a beam, and that was the only thing that drove me insane. Is the beam was awesome, like, because there's a little thing on the back, you could twist it and make the beam spin around or whatever, like it was shooting. That was awesome when they were actively using it, but whenever you put it on the proton pack, you got this long stick standing up, and it's just like they can't go through any doors now. Or
why is it firing?
Exactly. Yeah. Why is it still going? So
just turn it off.
Yeah. But yeah, so the real Ghostbusters, I loved those toys. Those were awesome. And it's one of those that I got rid of because I was just like, you get to that age, you get a little bit older and you're just like, it's a toy. I don't care. I'm beyond toys now. And of course now as an adult, I'm like, you idiot. Like, so, but yeah.
See, right, I have the struggle of a 90s kid that didn't have cable. So I grew up on a lot of those 80s cartoons, like Real Ghostbusters, Rainbow Bright, Care Bears, and all these super cool toys from my favorite shows weren't in production anymore.
Oh, that sucks.
It sucked. I wanted a Rainbow Bright doll so bad, and you couldn't find them.
I had one.
I was obsessed with her. She was my dream. She was a little girl that rode around on a white horse through rainbows all the time. Are you fucking kidding me? That's all I want to be now. Like,
and she ate candy all day? Come on.
She got to chill with a little Sprite. Oh my God. It was awesome. She hung out with the color kids all the time. Everything was pretty, and it probably smelled really good there.
See, that's the one benefit to, as much as I hate people that buy multiple copies of stuff and then, try to fleece you out of your money, like on eBay and stuff. That's the one benefit to things like eBay now. Cause it may cost you a bunch of money, but if you do have a kid that runs into one of those old, like I still see people who are introducing their kids to real Ghostbusters. And every so often, on some of the Facebook groups I'm with, they're like, hey, guess what I found? And, they went on eBay and they're like, it's not complete, but I might be able to fix it up or whatever, just so their kid can have at least some of the action figures. And I'm like, that's cool. So, because honestly, had the Play School Ghostbusters not come out, I don't know what I would have like. The only other Ghostbusters I have are the Diamond Select ones I have on there. And not playing with those. Those are expensive, but you know
this is where I see 3D printers coming in, right? Somebody somewhere is going to have those plans on for a 3D printer, and now you'll just be able to make all the parts, and then somebody's going to put them all together, and you'll be able to make the knee that bends and everything, and put it all together. And so that's where I see 3D printer going is making all those nostalgic toys.
Can they 3D print me a Rainbow Bright doll?
Not 3D print. Well, not
well, then I'm not.
Was it out plastic? Was it a plastic?
No, it was like a stuffed animal.
Okay, I was gonna say yeah. So
you could take her with you and snuggle her.
All right, last pick of the third round goes to Chris.
Okay, so I am going to pick Gem and the holograms.
Yes. Nice. Yes.
I had a Kimber doll growing up, and she was the redheaded one, and I was about 6, so I didn't understand that if you cut her hair, it didn't grow.
You did that?
Yeah, she had an army buzz cut. Yes, I know. Just cut all her hair off. She got left alone a lot.
I did, but I never did that.
Cut hair. My mom, I don't remember. I'm sure my mom got mad, but probably just forgot about it afterwards. But I really liked the cartoon, and I watched it all the time. And then when I watched The Toys That Made Us, and they had that Barbie episode, and that chick said that she found out that they were going to make Gem and holograms, and she rushed to production. Barbie and the
Rockers.
Barbie and the Rockers.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I was like, you fucker. That's why Gem wasn't as famous as I screwed them over. So
capitalism at its finest, right there.
So yeah, I picked Gem and the holograms, and I have not seen the new movie, and I refuse because they.
No, it's stupid. Don't see it. It'll ruin it.
Yeah, I heard it was. Yeah,
I'm down for a new Barbie and the Rockers movie though.
My sister had the video, and I don't remember how many times we watched it. Like we watched so many times. And I was begging, I was like, it's my turn to play on the NES. She said, no.
Shut up, we're watching this again.
It's not over yet. And she'd rewind it.
Yeah.
I used to do that.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
I used to do that to my little cousin because he didn't totally understand, how to use the remote.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be like, no, it's not over yet.
Yeah.
And I'd start finding it.
Definitely not.
Oh, that's cruel. Ray, you get first pick for round 4.
Awesome. Is it not Lainey's turn? I thought.
No, she just went.
She went for. Oh, she just. All right. All right. On that happy note. Okay. Mm-hmm. I have to go here.
Mm-hmm. That's where I thought you were going.
Yeah. So.
You should do that one.
Which one?
That one.
This one. Yes.
Yes. That one.
I am picking the Super Soakers of the 90s.
Yes.
Oh, look at Parker.
So,
oh my God.
There's 2 that come out that I because I always wanted this one. The most powerful Super Soaker ever, which was in '96. It was the CPS 2000, shot 50 feet.
Yes, 50 feet.
That's awesome. And then the other one that I really liked was the CPS 3200, and that was because it fit 8 liters in a backpack. And
I remember that one.
You had to strap it on. You could tighten it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just over.
Yeah.
So for my American friends, it's just over 2 gallons. And so there you are running around with a couple gallons of water on you, shooting.
But they leaked so bad though.
God,
they
so bad.
all over the place.
Especially up here when they froze in the winter because you left them out on the lawn.
Oh no!
Oh, I could.
A few times.
Ooh, that was real cold water too. Oof, yikes.
Yeah,
and then they came with the image where you could put they had this icicle you could freeze in your freezer, and then it would fit into the water compartment, so it would make the water that much colder.
That's awful.
Yeah,
that is horrible.
That's horrible.
We hang people for that down here in Texas. So.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
We're sadistic.
Yeah. Well, that's probably just warm water to you guys, ice water.
You're like, oh, that's tepid.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're birthed out of the ice.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah.
You come to be.
But yeah, no, I remember just war with those. We would
Fuck
just.
Yeah.
And where I lived as a kid was there was a bush around everybody's house, so we'd go off into the bushes.
You lived in the cool part of town. I did not. I grew up in the skeezy part of town.
Me too.
So right behind some of my friends' places was like a ravine and all this stuff, and so we'd go in the back and we would just be gone for hours. And it was also like back in that time, neighbors didn't care that you were running in their backyard. So we'd be running. We'd have one house as a safe house, and then everywhere else was fair game. And we were literally like hunking. It was like paintball, but before we had.
Hell yeah!
It was awesome. Such a good time.
That's how my neighborhood was. It was awesome. We had like half a block that was just like ours to like order around. It was awesome. And I remember, I'll never forget this. So there was a lot of boys on my block. But we all like played together and hung out together. But I remember there was like a tradition every year that the older kids would like pelt the younger kids with like water balloons and super soakers on like the last day of school when they would get off the bus. And then that was the thing is we would have, but it wasn't like mean, it was fun, but we would have like a war all summer with like super soakers. And so my dad went to Toys R Us and got me the biggest fucking super soaker he could find and strapped that thing on me. And I came out of the garage one day just fucking ready. And I owned that summer. It was awesome. I was maybe 7.
Just
little. I can totally do this. It was so much fun. Oh, I loved it. I was shit with water balloons, but I could take you out with that super soaker.
I love those things. They're a lot of fun.
I'm almost thinking about changing it one of my picks. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Parker, what's your next pick?
My next pick is going to be Micro Machines.
Wow, nice.
I don't.
And I most specifically, I guess, from the late '80s to early '90s. My sister
were awesome.
Yes, kind of goes along the lines with it's like when you're talking about like they were made out of like cast metal and
and
I still have some of them at my mom's house.
I remember
I do too, and I have bequeathed them to my my nephews, and they love the shit out of them too, which is awesome. And had have like the double decker trailers, and you could load them up in the trailers, cool. And the little boxes that doubled as the land, and you could put them in there and store them.
It was the equivalent. It was the male equivalent of a Polly Pocket.
Yeah, I remember those. I remember I had neighbors that lost theirs a lot.
Yeah, and you had little features, and you could have like little signs that you could poke in the top, and you could have like off-road things, and
we
had a bunch of stuff together and make like a huge area.
We intermingled the Hot Wheels with those.
Oh yeah, Hot Wheels. They were just smaller Hot Wheels essentially, but they were just because you already picked Hot Wheels because suck.
But Hot Wheels didn't have the Micro Machine Man. So
they did. That's very true.
Don't worry, that was on my list. Like
was it? Okay.
That was on my list, and I remember my mom pulling them out of the dryer, and she's like, "You gotta stop leaving these in your pocket."
Yeah, I remember my mom yelling because she stepped on them all the time.
No, that's not a good
they're
thing.
This big, and they hide in the carpet really well. So it was always every once in a while like, shit. Like she's like, Andrew, come pick up your mess. So that happened quite a bit.
Well, and then they also and I was this is why I also remember the NES game that came like
like
one of the best racers.
That was so much fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's
the cereal, right? It was the
you had to pick up the cereal. Yeah, because it was
the milk.
Yeah, because it was geared. I mean, for kids, like that was a kids game for sure.
Yep. The garden.
Yeah, in the garden, in the big grass.
Yep.
You were going through the
Sean agrees with you. He says another awesome pick by Parker. Micro Machines rocked. So, my next pick, I'm almost. I don't know if I want to change this or not. I'm going to go ahead and go with my original idea, and that is the original He-Man. I had a ton of He-Man. I freaking had Castle Grayskull. I had Snake Mountain. I did not know about Eternia until I was an adult. And I was like, they made an Eternia? Like, that blew my mind as an adult. But freaking Battle Cat and Panther actually, like, you know, had felt on him and it was soft and it was my mom actually I always liked when the toys looked like they were supposed to look. Mm-hmm. So whenever I got Evil Lynn, she didn't have a cape, and I'm like, she has a cape. Where's her cape? It's just, you know. So my mom specifically went and made a cape for her, and I'm like, that is awesome. So, but man, I loved He-Man. So
what I didn't know about it was, thankfully, watching that the Toys That Made Us,
mm-hmm.
they made all the toys first and got that whole thing first, and they're like, geez, how are we going to sell these? All right, let's make a show out of this. Like, it was, that was the afterthought. Let's make all the toys, all these characters, and just come up with crazy stuff. And then they started with the comic books and then got into the TV. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a backwards way to do stuff, but
that totally worked.
Oh, it worked, yeah. And that's why
like I had Stinkor, but I could never, like, all the slime stuff. My mom refused. She's like, nope, you're not getting any of the slime stuff. Of course, looking back at it now, I'm like, that may have gotten on some of them and never come out. So I'm kind of glad.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But I love those.
My cousin had the stink one, and he used to just shove it in our nose. Brad Andrew, yeah. It was.
I mean, he was colored like a skunk. What do you expect? But they were all the same body type. They all had that exact same body type. It was just basically it was a repaint or whatever, which, you know, that's the thing I always bring up with, you know, I don't have this conversation very often, but when I do have the conversation of Barbie gives women
so did He-Man.
An unrealistic idea of body type, I'm like, look at every little boy that ever played with He-Man, because
this shit.
Exactly, all the time.
Oh yeah,
his arms didn't even get any closer than this to his body because his muscles were so.
He literally can't hold his hands by himself.
No, he can't. Nothing ever went in a pocket. That's all I'm saying.
Never. He couldn't even clap. Like,
nope, absolutely not.
Lats got in the way.
Yep.
You try to clap, your man's getting away.
Oh God,
dude.
Hilarious. Chris, what's your next pick?
Okay, so when Ray said that he used to leave his micro machines in his pockets, I washed his wallet the other day, so he still does it. Logan took everything out of his wallet, laid it all out on the coffee table so it would dry.
It all dried out. We're good.
There you go.
He washed his wallet a lot. He keeps leaving his crap.
It's my good wallet too. It's my Simpsons wallet. So I gotta be careful.
Oh my God.
Okay, so my third pick is when this came out, I was really, really little, so I have a very vague memory of this. But Rainbow Bright.
Yes.
I was 3 or 4, and I had Rainbow Bright the plush, and I had her. I had Twink, the green one, Little Bright. So I had that, and I loved Twink. He was I liked him more than Rainbow Bright, and somehow Rainbow Bright got too close to a 1980s incandescent light bulb, and half her face sort of melted, so she was disfigured the rest of the time I had her. And then I saw, but Twink I had for a very long time. So I liked that, and I like cartoons. I liked older ones because I guess they had bad guys. I liked it when they had bad guys. They don't have them anymore, but
good versus evil, you know.
I liked the good versus evil. So, but I had vague memories of actually watching Rainbow Bright. I just remember having her and then Twink.
I remember those cartoons like I watched them this morning.
Yeah, I don't remember them.
Like Murky Dismal, I will never forget that name. Murky Dismal is the name of her arch nemesis, and it will stick in my brain for forever. Can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. Totally remember his name.
Yep.
Oh, she's such a queen. I love it.
She started out as a Japanese cartoon, didn't she? And then she
figure, yeah.
Yeah, she came over in 84, and then they had a movie. I kind of remember the movie in 85. It was I remember a lot of twinkling noises going on and stuff.
That show used so many of the like ridiculous sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
Like think about like
Yes.
how many you think is too many and add 10 more.
Yeah.
I've seen video clips where people have pointed that out.
Like holy shit.
The Foley on that show was ridiculous. Yes.
It's insane. Oh my Lord.
All right, Lainey, you have the last pick for round 4.
Okay. I have a lot of honorable mentions too. Just FYI.
We will hit honorable mentions afterwards. Yes.
Thank God. Why? So
we still have one more round. So after this,
this one is very near and dear to my heart. Power Wheels.
Oh, nice.
Specifically, I never had one.
Always wanted one.
I always wanted one, and I remember the one I wanted. It was a Little Mermaid themed Power Wheels. And it was like white and like the aqua color, and like Sebastian was like on the horn, and it had like Ariel and like Flounder on the side, and oh my God, it was so cute. And I remember I begged for that for Christmas one year, and I didn't get it because, duh, of course I didn't get it. They were ridiculous.
Yeah, they were like
absolutely ridiculous. And my parents' argument was like, well, Alex, who was my best friend, had one. They were like, so whenever you go see Alex, you can play on his. I was like, his is Hot Wheels themed. That's not the same. Good. And I remember they came out with a white one, like a Barbie one, like a Barbie Beat Jeep. Oh, it was so cool. And it looked like Cher's Jeep and Clueless. And I swear, those are the reasons that I still want a Jeep to this day. It's ridiculous. Oh, I loved that thing. And they were so cool. And you always knew, like, the kids that had them, either A, they had too much money.
They had money, yeah.
Or B, their parents were divorced. It was always one of the two.
Stepdad wanted to get back in the good graces. Yeah.
Damn right.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
I never really had. I think I maybe had one. I had a motorcycle. That's the only one I remember having. And I don't even know if it was Hot Wheels. But the only reason my boys had any of them is because I bought them used, like through like Craigslist or whatever. And they're like, yeah, they work or whatever, but they might need a new battery. And I'm like, okay. So I started doing some research and was like, oh, so this has a 6 amp battery. What happens when you put a 12 amp battery in?
They're fast as shit. That's what happens.
I have video. Alex tromps down and literally the back wheels just like if they could smoke, they would before it finally catches and goes. Here's the bad thing about those. And little point for anyone who might be listening. You can buy almost all the replacement parts for a Power Wheels except for the wheels.
Oh.
Okay, so riddle me this just as a weird thing. Wouldn't they make them so much better if they had a thin layer of rubber? Like
this is where looking online, people are getting around that. They are going into bike shops and getting used tires and stripping the tire and basically, just attaching it around the wheel. And they're like, as long as the structural integrity is there.
Now I can take it off-roading.
Exactly.
With the 12
amp
I just understand how you have that, but it's like hard plastic. It just doesn't. You don't get any grip. It doesn't make any sense.
Nope. And I thought about it, but I was almost afraid, especially with as light as Alex is. I'm like, if I put rubber on the back here, he's going to tromp down. All 12 amps is going to hit, and it's going to grip when it first goes, and it's just going to go.
Yeah.
He's going to pop a wheelie and pop his ass back.
Get a wheelie bar for the back of it so it doesn't do that.
My God.
Just get wheelie bars, or just make it 4-wheel drive and just.
What are you doing? What are you doing with that PVC pipe? Oh, I've got to make a roll bar for.
Yeah. My kid needs a wheelie bar for his
Power Wheels.
He's gonna wear a helmet.
Yes,
it's fine.
Don't worry about it. Stop judging me, Linda.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen people have modded them to do different things. Like people have made them into ectos. They made them in, made it look like Kit from Knight Rider and stuff. And I'm just like, am I failing as a parent, or is it just I had too much of stuff going on?
Yeah.
I just want the Barbie one, man. Or I want to make it look like Cher's Jeep and Clueless.
All I can picture right now is Tim the Two-Wind Taylor saying more power and.
I thought about it even because you can get bigger motors and like there. Believe me, I stumbled, didn't really go too far into it, but there are websites and forums that are people who are just tricking these things out, and I'm like, you know what? That's cool. Y'all go for it. Just don't kill
too much time on your hands.
What would you rather do though? Would you rather do that, or would you rather trick out a golf cart that you could drive so that it was actually
Like,
Need help with that?
Just saying, lady.
You just
I
blew
know.
Lainey's mind.
Oh my God. Are you telling me that there's a chance that I could have my Power Wheels as an adult?
Maybe.
Yeah.
With like mud tires, you can get lifted. You can do
Can I paint it? But can I paint it
Yes.
to look?
You do whatever you want.
Why not?
Oh my God. That's what I want.
Like she's getting all overwhelmed.
I really want that.
You could like go out to the fields with the horses in it and
Yeah.
Just rip shit up
That's
there. I could
awesome.
finally live out my dream of being equestrian Barbie. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
It's all happening.
All happening.
All
All right. It is time for the last round. And first pick for last round goes to Parker.
Okay. So this is a very specific toy, but it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Starship Troopers action figures.
Whoa, those happened.
that happened.
Yes. Yes, they did.
Dude.
You had the drop ships as
Yeah.
well as the bugs.
We watched
And
that
they
movie.
Amazing.
Watched that movie a couple of weeks ago. We didn't realize just how like gory it was because we're like, what if the kids want? And like, we're like,
Nope,
nope,
kids aren't
one
watching
of-
it.
they're watching it.
It is one of the best, like, gory, like, satirical sci-fi movies
Oh, yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
If you look back on it, like, if you haven't watched it in a while, go back and just look at it as a, like, anti-authoritarian satire.
Oh my God.
Perfect.
It's good.
That's
I-
perfect.
So stupid.
That
Perfect.
that series, that series of movies, to me was the biggest miss on that for me ever. Was why was that not a first person shooter?
It didn't need to
That
be.
would have
It didn't need to be. It-
been an epic fucking
As a movie,
game.
it was perfect, and I never saw any of the other movies. It just needed that one movie. It wrapped it up in a nice
One and
bow.
done.
Oh yeah, there was other movies. I only ever saw the one.
No, we just
Yeah.
I've
But yeah,
never
the
seen
action
any other ones either.
figures were amazing. You had
Wow.
the drop ships, and you can have people coming out of the drop ships. You had the creatures. You could after you could like shoot at them, and there was a little like side lever. You could hit it, and then the tops of their head would blow off, and you
Oh,
could
no
stick your
way.
face in the
Oh,
middle.
nice.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to look these up.
I'm telling you,
that big bug, like the
The brain bug.
gelatinous bug.
they didn't have the brain bug. It was just the regular ones, like the
Oh, like
slider
ones?
the one that spit fire.
Yeah, no, the
the
big
plasma, whatever.
with like just like the normal ones,
Okay, just the
the
okay.
crawly ones, like the big
Yep.
ones.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
because
yeah, I don't know why I don't know why I had them.
That's awesome that you did
I
though.
was just gonna
I'm
say,
assuming
you're
it's-
not wrong to be having Star Trooper toys.
Well, because my dad introduced me to a
God.
lot of sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
Probably young of an age.
Jesus.
How old were you when you saw it? Like it came out in '96. What were you, like 6 years old?
He was 6 years old.
Yeah.
I love your dad.
I mean, I
my
saw
God.
like Dune, and like all like
Yep.
the mid '90s.
Wow.
See, this is explaining a lot now. I like this. This is good.
Yeah, don't you understand Parker so much more now?
I do now.
Yeah.
This is okay.
I was exposed to a lot of
I-
things. Maybe you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah.
It was like
thanks.
us in the 80s. Like the movie rating system was totally off. It was-
Yeah, it didn't matter. They were like, 13, sure.
Let's be honest. No, it was PG. A lot of it was
Or
PG.
just
Like Chuck
PG, yeah.
Chuck
Yeah.
PG. So was Gremlins. Gremlins was PG.
Yeah, which would be R nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can find them for about $40 on eBay. I'm looking at some of them.
They exist.
That's
I'm
actually
telling you, they're real. They did exist. Yeah,
That's awesome.
but yeah, I mean,
that's actually a good looking toy.
yeah. Oh yeah.
See,
insane.
yeah.
I did not know they made toys.
So anyway, more
That's
people should know about it because I for some reason I had them and I enjoyed the hell out of them and they were fun.
Yeah.
So that
You
would
know
be
what,
great.
there's something to be said about taking your kid to a movie theater when they're not supposed to. My dad took me to Jurassic Park, but there was the director's cut. It was in Toronto, and it was
You were 12.
I was 12, but it
Yeah.
was not a movie that
Mm.
The reason being is 12 or 11 anyway.
94.
The acid scene, when I watched it again, I'm like, this isn't the same movie I remember as a kid.
Yeah.
Because the acid scene, when he gets spit, he's actually holding his guts in the director cut one that I saw.
Really?
Gross.
And he's holding it in as he's trying to get in the Jeep and all that stuff. So it's totally...
No way.
I'm really glad I didn't see that as a child.
I've never seen that.
It was a lot more graphic.
Oh,
That's
God.
awesome. Well, I mean, the book is graphic.
I've never read the book.
The book is
So,
pretty heavy shit.
yeah. Like, my dad and I watched it again later, and he's like, I don't remember it being as tame. I'm like, it wasn't.
No, Dad.
You took me to the director's cut.
Yeah.
Like, in the theater. It was awesome.
That's hilarious.
Go Cherry.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's my pick. If you don't have them, I highly recommend getting them because they're amazing.
Check those
We're going to
out.
check those out because
For
I would make a scene out of those on like one of the shelves somewhere.
Oh, that would be awesome,
You
actually.
you could pop off the top of
yeah.
the head and see like the brains and stuff. It's awesome.
All right, kids.
Yeah.
Well,
Next
that's
kid's
today.
toy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, Sean was talking about he saw the third one.
Maybe
He was
the
talking about
third
one of the
one?
actresses and how bad it was. So, I can imagine. All right, for my last pick, my last official pick, I almost changed it to something else. I'll talk about it here in just a second when we kind of do some alternates. I'm going with Centurions. Okay, yep, this is kind of one of those one-off. They were there's an episode of Toy Galaxy where he just talked about it, and the action figures were they were like a 12-inch doll, and there were 3 different guys, and there were different colors, and one was land, one was sea, and one was air. And all over they had a bodysuit, and all over their body and arms and legs and stuff, they had these holes. And the whole idea was there was an orbiting spaceship or whatever, and whenever they would go to a place, they would basically call down whatever weapons they needed, and they would come down and they would fit. And these toys were awesome because, number one, like I said, they were a good size toy. Maybe they're about 9 inches, maybe 10 inches tall. So like the weapons and stuff they had were like big.
Size,
And like some of them were a very basic set that would kind of go on there or whatever, but some of them had like these huge fucking weapons. And the thing is you can mix and match them, and they were awesome. Like, I thought about it, like, of course I need to lose some weight regardless, but I was like, man, that would be an awesome cosplay to do, especially if you could find 2 other guys to do it with you, because you could literally just make just insane number of like weapons and shit, and just like every cosplay you do or whatever, you could literally just mix and match, and it would be fucking awesome. Go check out. There's a series on YouTube called Toy Galaxy. Number 1, the guy's really funny, but he does these histories or stuff or whatever on these Toy Stories. And he did Centurions the other day, and I was just like, oh my god, I loved those toys. They were so much fun.
I guess I'm too young, but I've never heard of those.
They only lasted for like maybe a year or 2. They didn't hold on very long. And he talks
awesome,
about that.
though.
Yeah, check them out. Like, it's definitely one of those things. It's like, man, if they rebooted this would be awesome. So, but yeah, Centurions.
Such a cool concept too.
Yeah, and like I said, the main thing is once you get the 3 guys, I mean, there were 2 bad guys, and I think there were only like 5 action figures, but like once you buy the 3 guys, or if you got even just one of the guys, you could go buy any one of the sets. Like, it was almost like a Barbie in that way, because it was a larger action figure, and the main thing that you were doing was collecting the accessories that went onto it. Like, you bought the main guy once, and then you just were buying accessories at that point. So but yeah, I freaking love Centurions. Those were awesome. That was such an awesome toy line. So next up is Chris. What is your last pick?
Okay, so my last pick is My Little Ponies from about 1982 to 1992. I had a bunch. I remember I was 7, and I went to school with a little boy who had My Little Ponies too.
Fuck yeah!
I was really into it. We were both about 7, and I had a bunch, and I liked brushing their hair, and I liked that they were made out of hollow plastic, so you can actually like squeeze them, and like They weren't solid plastic. And I just like brushing their hair, and I liked I wasn't into horses as a kid. I never went through that stage, but I just liked brushing their hair and sort of having them. They were more like figurines instead of things that I play with. And I really liked the cartoon. And I hear the theme song in my head right now.
My Little Pony, my... Sorry.
I think it's hilarious that they have been able to reboot it and it's actually done as well as it has.
You can thank the bronies for that.
Yeah.
I can't watch it because of bronies.
Good documentaries if you guys.
Yeah, there are. We can recommend 3 of them right off the bat.
Yeah. So that's my last one.
Oh, I love
My Little Pony.
Ponies. What was it about them too? Like you didn't really do a lot with them. They were too small for your parents to provide.
Well, I did have a color change one. That one was pretty cool. Yeah.
My sister had that. I distinctly remember that one because she was freaking the fuck out over that. Yeah.
I remember the commercial because it was with what, cold water, and there were like different things like a little star or whatever, and you put it in the cold water and then you put it on there so you could actually kind of like paint different.
You could put those
I remember that.
I had a Barbie with a
Was
dress.
that the beginning of the tramp stamp?
No.
Yes, exactly. You nailed it.
So that happened after the release of the feature film Pocahontas because there was a Pocahontas doll that had tattoos that would show up when you did that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, was it on her lower back too? Was that?
I don't think so.
That must have been a different movie I watched.
Maybe.
A very different movie.
A different Pocahontas. Got it. All right.
Pocahontas. That's not Pocahontas.
There you go.
Oh.
I was waiting for someone to do something.
I'm trying to keep it
Nicely
peaceful.
done.
No, you're not.
This round.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Lainey. What is your last pick?
My last one, these were probably about as important to me as my Barbies were, but there was a series of toys in the 90s, and I specifically mean the run that happened like in the 90s, like 1990 to about 1998. And those were Littlest Pet Shop.
Oh, yeah.
I remember those.
Holy shit. If you go Google 90s Littlest Pet Shop, I can guarantee you about 90% of the shit that you see, I had it. I was so into it. I used to set it up. I had a lot of the zoo sets, and I would set up like a Barbie zoo. And so I would one of my Barbies would be like the zookeeper. And it was so awesome. She was like doing research to figure, because I was a crazy person. So she was always trying to be Jane Goodall. And I had the little play set too that looked like a pet shop, but it wasn't a pet shop. It was an animal shelter because I was little Lainey.
Right.
So it was oh my God, I was so into this. But they if you look at them, they don't look like much, but they always had cool stuff. They always came with the best stuff. I had one that was like a turtle aquarium, and it came with the little water thingy that you put over the side, and it came with a fucking the fake palm tree that you put in there too. What the fuck? They were so cool. There was one that was an exotic animal. It was one of the zoo ones. It was tropical animals. So it had a little jaguar and stuff like that. And then you had a little coconut to play with. What? It was so much fun. I love those. They made so many cool ones. And then in the late 90s, they started making them cutesy. They were always cute, but they started doing that thing that they did with the Bratz dolls and shit, where everything started not looking real. Mm-hmm. It took on that next level of what the fuck is this, and they just started looking stupid.
Slutty? Because that's what I remember
kind
the
of.
Bratz dolls.
Yeah, they were
Not
all
slutty.
Yeah.
kind of. I don't know how to explain it.
Awkward.
The eyes got way bigger and the heads got way bigger, but the bodies got way smaller. It was weird.
And the clothes got really small. Is just
that was the main thing. If it had been big head, small bodies, okay, fine. There've been toys like that
Barbie
forever. But you're right.
In a smaller body.
It was the fact that it was wow, that's a really short skirt on that toy.
that you're trying to sell to a 7-year-old.
That looks like a little baby drag queen.
Yeah.
With a lot of makeup on.
Little baby drag queen. That bitch had contour. She had a dark statement lip.
We refused to get Logan Bratz dolls.
Yeah, we refused.
We absolutely refused.
I remember my mom was
shaming. Just saying.
My mom was the same way. At that point, I was kind of out of the doll phase. But I remember I had a friend that had one, and my mom just kept my mom could not wrap her head around buying those for her. My mom was just why?
It's no.
Have you seen? There's a woman online on YouTube somewhere, and she actually repaints the face. So she takes nail polish remover and removes all the ink from the face, from the brat stalls, and then repaints it more like an actual person. That's actually pretty cool. They do a really good job. So
see, I love shit like that when people do stuff like that. That's cool.
Yeah,
I like it when they do that with the Barbies. It's always pretty.
Yeah.
All right, and the last official pick goes to Ray.
All right, I would be pretty upset with myself if I didn't pick this. So if you had a hallway in Canada, then you also had an indoor hockey rink.
Yep.
Because we'd be playing mini sticks. So you needed mini sticks, and you'd get a soft yellow ball. And man, if I didn't have mini sticks in my store, I wouldn't be Canadian. So
Did you guys play a lot of street hockey too? Like
street hockey, absolutely. But
do the thing where you yell "game on" 100 times.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
That's the best part.
Car, you have to.
You yell car.
Does it sound weird if I tell you guys I've never held a hockey stick before?
You haven't? I have.
I haven't either.
Come on.
Yeah, why would I?
They played street hockey on my street.
No, I realize. So we're gonna if we come down there, we're bringing sticks.
Fuck yeah.
Or we're gonna go find some or something like that. We're gonna play some road hockey and
Oh, yeah.
I played lacrosse. Does that count?
No.
That's our national sport, though.
By the way, Sean agrees with you. He says you're right. You have to have mini sticks.
You do.
Yeah, I
have to.
I lived where it doesn't get under 30 more than 2 weeks a year.
You lived.
We'll forgive.
Like
as long as
less than 5 miles away from where I live.
And it's really weird that they were playing hockey. Who the
They
fuck?
were not hockey, street hockey. Like on their rollerblades.
See, so the cool thing about the mini sticks is you could play inside where it's AC in your case, so you're actually cool. But the cool thing about it was we would always play body contact, but you always had to be on your knees as you're running around. So because the mini sticks are literally like that tall,
big,
like
that's.
Oh, really?
So you're running around and you'd body check your cousin or whatever into the wall. If they dented the wall with the drywall, then you'd kind of have to just like pretend you tripped. And, I don't know what happened.
So do like all older hallways and all older houses in Canada have like dents like halfway up the wall?
Or they have like mini stick holes where the
like
so
2 feet up, 2 feet up. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
And like brand new drywall paste everywhere. So the other thing that
Your
was
dad would have shot you.
Oh yeah. So the other thing was you had to have two people playing goalie, right? And you'd always put the really good one on the end with no door, so that they would at least stop it from going down to the parents. Because the other one, you could shoot on the other one and hit the wall. That's fine, but
whatever. Yeah.
The better goalie had to be at the back because
that's
no door to stop that sucker. So it's.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
Amazing.
I could just see your dad screaming down in the basement, freaking out because you and whoever would be playing, and you just know something's going to get broke. I could see him freaking out.
What are you guys doing, eh?
Oh, he wouldn't be like that. It was more of a, what are you doing? Get the fuck outside!
Oh,
Canada. That works too. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I'm serious.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Well, I'm sorry too, but fuck off.
Yeah.
Well, before we go through some honorable mentions, let me just recap. Pardon me, everyone's picks. So the 5 picks that I had were G1 Transformers, Generations Transformers, the Real Ghostbusters, the original 1980s He-Man, and Centurions. Chris had 90s Polly Pocket, She-Ra, Jem, Rainbow Bright, and My Little Pony. Lainey had Sky Dancers, 90s Skip It, 90s Barbie, Power Wheels, and Littlest Pet Shop. Ray had Lego Star Wars, 70s Hot Wheels, 90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 90s Super Soakers, and indoor hockey. And Parker had Classic Army Men, Pogs, Warhammer 4000, or 4K, guess you could say.
4K. It's Warhammer 40K.
40K, my bad. Micro Machines and Starship Troopers.
These
Just
all
a couple.
very authentic to us.
Yeah. A couple of the one of the ones that I had on there.
Ray took 2 of mine.
Well,
Yeah, a couple of mine got picked too.
So.
Super Soakers.
Oh. A couple of the ones that I had on there were.
We have summer here too.
These are newer ones. The Diamond Select Ghostbuster toys, which I'm currently collecting, are so freaking awesome.
Those are
But I almost, and this is the one I almost picked when y'all were talking about how badass, with the Super Soaker. I was almost going to throw in there 2000s Nerf guns because the Vulcan, being able to walk around with a chain gun and a fucking
on your hip
gun. Oh my god!
Yep.
I actually have a teacher on my campus that has one. She's a physics teacher, and if she ever says she's going to get rid of it, I will be like, done right here. I will buy whatever is missing.
Want 200, 300 a month.
Okay, but if you do get it, Eugene, you have to promise me to repaint it to look realistic, and then you got to go with Terminator 2.
That would be so awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, that would be awesome.
That'd be great.
And then a couple of ones, and actually Sean brought these up, but I wanted to mention them anyway. Dino Riders. Does anyone know what those were?
Dino Riders.
Yes.
I don't remember that.
Okay, number one, most people don't remember them, and the only time I ever see them mentioned online is people will find the box art on the back of it and post it and be like, I don't know what's going on here, but this is the fucking baddest thing I've ever seen. Because it's a Tyrannosaurus with a bunch of armor and shit, blasting rockets and shit.
Those are a big fucking deal.
I loved those toys. I still have some of the dinosaurs. I don't have any of the armor or the little guys, but I still have some of the dinosaurs.
It was a show, though, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it had a cartoon series for a while too.
That, and there was another one. I don't know if Parker remembers this. Parker, do you remember Street Sharks?
Fuck yeah, I do.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to see.
I had the toys too. I had Street Shark toys.
I wanted the Hammerhead so bad. Never got it.
He was the best one. I think everybody won that one.
Not to
The
brag.
other one that Sean brought up, and I only ever had one of these. I wasn't really big into them, but Lewis really was, and that was Mask. Those were fucking cool toys too.
I have Mask.
I remember that one.
They were basically vehicles that did like a little bit of a transformation. So like maybe it was a car, and then like these wings would sprout out and weapons and stuff, and then would fly. And so check them out. There's some stuff online about those too. So those are pretty fun. So, tell you what, I'll just go down the list. Chris, did you have any other alternates you want to throw out there?
I do. So when I was starting at the age of 9, I got massively into New Kids on the Block, like really hardcore.
Oh, stop! No, you didn't.
Oh my god, I had all the tapes.
This
By
makes
the
me
way,
feel
and the
so
holiday
much better.
albums. So I had the bedspread, and I had the pillowcase.
Christy had that. Christy did. Christy had that.
I was going to say Christy would love this right
It was
now.
like
a beach towel and I think a lunchbox.
I did not have the lunchbox, but I had all of the dolls. So I would bring
so did she.
dolls. So the NKOTB, because that's what they were called.
Of course.
Why did they used to say their names in like quick succession? There was like something like that. Brian, Joseph, Alan, Craig, and Danny.
Zach.
I don't know.
Okay, now you just sound like Cletus. You're just running off names.
Just
here, Josie,
Birthday cake.
just white man names.
Yeah.
Kyle.
No,
Zach.
Danny.
Joey,
Danny,
Donnie, Jordan, and Jonathan.
Right, Donnie Wahlberg.
Wabug.
Donnie Wahlberg.
I'm slightly more disappointed in you now.
Okay. So I'd have the New Kids on the Block dolls and early 90s dolls. I know you said from 94 on, but by that time I was out of Barbies. I was like 12 or 13.
That's fair.
So I would have that, but before, and I had the Barbie camper van.
They stopped making that when I was a kid, and it was so cool.
Yeah, so I
My
had
sister
that.
had that.
My friend's big sisters always had that, and I didn't have like a real big sister, so I never had one.
I did.
Man.
Oh my god, you can get all 5 of them.
You know you're an
Oh
adult.
wait a minute, they want
right now, and you can
55.
get
Okay,
all of those.
you can get all 5 of them on eBay right now for $40. I'm like,
All
damn,
the
that's
New
not
Kids
bad.
on the Block ones?
But they want $54 in shipping. I'm like, what?
Hey, yeah. Is it from overseas, though? Because
I don't know. That's a good question.
I almost had to pay that kind of shipping on my Mickey Mouse cheeseburger backpack, but I found
I'm almost thinking I would be like, would that be a cool thing? Because I don't know what Christy would do with them, but I'm like, is that something that she would actually enjoy?
I don't know. For nostalgia purposes, yes, but she'd get rid of them.
No, I don't need them. I just I remember
Want
like
them.
the time I was about 9 to 11, like New Kids on the Block were it for me.
I love that. That makes me feel better about
my favorite because he was the youngest one, and I felt that was the most age appropriate age gap because he's like, almost.
This one's $60 plus $15 in shipping.
I feel better now about my.
It wasn't quite as weird.
It wasn't quite as weird.
No, he was the Justin of the group. Yeah,
he was the Justin of the group. And he was
I get it.
And I didn't like Jordan because he had that high pitch falsetto. When I was a kid, that was super weird.
Super weird now.
Danny because he was ugly, and I
Yikes.
Donnie.
Wasn't Danny the one that got into trouble in the hotel?
I don't know. Remember?
Anyway.
No, that was probably Donnie. He was the bad boy.
Oh,
Russian hookers again.
Those damn Russian hookers.
Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Every time.
Well, you know.
Yeah. Those Russian hookers will get
who
you.
hasn't been there?
I mean,
Golden showers.
if I had a nickel.
Yeah.
I know, right? All right. So next up, I don't remember. Lainey, I think. Yeah, Lainey. Did you have any other mentions?
Oh boy, do I.
Oh Lord.
When Eugene proposed this topic, no. When Eugene proposed this topic, I was hardcore all in.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started fucking every time one would pop up into my head, I was writing it down. So I was very excited. So I have Pretty Pretty Princess and Dream Phone and Perfection. Those were 3 90s games that were fucking sweet. Do you remember Perfection? Perfection did not help little Lainey, who had budding anxiety.
I was to say, you were probably had a heart attack every
A nervous damn wreck.
It was so bad.
Oh God, I can't get it.
I started crying a couple of times playing Perfection. It feeds into like the two worst qualities of myself, which is my like need to do something correctly and my intense anxiety. I was just like, I don't do
it. Louder and louder the more time.
Yes.
Yes.
That is
gonna pop
that
up.
game is anxiety personified. It's horrible.
But
it was fucking awesome.
You mean game phonified?
Gamified. Yes. Thank you. Yes. So yeah, and Dream Phone obviously was fucking awesome.
Dream Phone was awesome.
Easy Bake Oven. I fucking lived for my Easy Bake Oven. I used to make these little like apple turnovers in there.
Ooh.
And they were fucking awesome. They had like sugar cookie dough. Like they were horrible, but they were so good.
But you baked it with a light.
Sure did.
I had my mom's from the 60s.
That's pretty.
It was green, and the whole thing got hot.
Yeah, the top of
it burned you when you looked at it, but
the top of mine used to get stupid hot. But I remember that was always like a Saturday morning like treat. Like I could get my Easy Bake Oven out.
I wonder what level light bulb was in there. Like I'm just thinking.
100 watts.
I was gonna say like 100-watt light bulb. It's like.
But I remember
you're gonna open it and you're just like.
The reason I like
100 watt. Like
there's no opening. That's why you slid it through.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Really pissed off because like the thing in mine wasn't level, so when I would bake my cakes they would be like lopsided. Really pissed
you just had to
off.
put like some shims underneath one side.
I used to get really pissed off about because I would like try to make these like pretty double layer cakes like they had on the box. I was like, well, fuck you, that doesn't look right. It used to really make me mad. But
totally. We didn't even talk about boxes. Like that was one of the things. It's like it looked awesome on the box, and a lot of times you got it out and you're just like, fuck this.
My Barbie toys never disappointed me. I'm just saying. But yeah, Easy Bake Oven for sure. Any and all like 90s Disney plush. The plush was so much better back then. They had super cool shit. I always got like really awesome characters that you would never find now. I had a Bambi plush that was adorable.
Mm-hmm.
I have a baby Pegasus from Hercules. Aww. Yeah, these are awesome. I love those. And then I also had the Spice
Anything else?
Dolls. Yes, I have 5 more. Spice Girls dolls, Floam and Gak, like all that weird shit.
Floam!
Oh, yes.
That's a blast from the past right
Fuck
there.
Yeah. So yeah, Floam for sure. Gak also because you make really badass fart sounds with the Gak. And then Spice Girls dolls, obviously. And then they had this thing. Chris might remember this. Did you guys have Doodle Bears, Chris? You may have been too old for it at the time, but
too old for it. But I do remember my cousins had them.
Oh, and you could draw on them.
Yeah, and you
wash them off. Yeah.
I begged for that for Christmas, and getting it, you would have thought you had given me world peace. I was so excited.
They came with jean overalls.
Yes, she had the cutest outfit.
Yeah.
She had these little denim overalls, and she looked like she was denim, and you could draw on her and like play tic-tac-toe. Oh,
I remember
my
that.
God.
Who'd you play that with? Yourself?
That's mean.
That's kind of a burn for
Hang on a
comment
second.
you made
That's
earlier. I'm not gonna.
that painted all those fucking toys. Okay.
Yeah, by myself.
Yeah.
You're damn right. I had a great time.
I was an only child. You chose to do that. No, I loved it. I would like put like eyelashes on it. I love that thing. I absolutely adore that thing. I think I still have it somewhere. I like refuse to get rid of it.
That's
but yes, she was the coolest. I loved her, and I would get so excited to like cover her and stuff, and then I just wash her and then start all over again. She was the best.
Ray, any honorable mentions?
Yep, I got a few. Basically, any of the Marvel actions, and even DC. So all the action heroes. So Batman, and for me it was the Spider-Man, Venom, Doc Ock. Like those are the ones that I really loved. I wanted them so bad, I just never got them. I think I had like a Spider-Man, that was it. But Batman was pretty cool. And especially because growing up on Batman the animated series, and then
they had some awesome toys.
Oh yeah, and that Batmobile, my friend, I remember he had the one that actually split apart, and it became the bike one. It was,
yeah. I remember that. My friend Alex
so
had
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
Shit.
He was an asshole, but it was.
Alex wasn't an asshole. He was just wealthy.
Sure he was.
Oh, shit.
It's because Jeff was an only child.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, we sucked.
I don't know if Ryan just joined us, but Ryan's in the chat room. He said doodle bears were the gateway to tattoos.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
Can't see mine. I do have facial piercings though.
There you go.
And then obviously all the Lego. Like there's Lego superhero, like the superheroes right now, Marvel superheroes. There's you name it with Lego right now. They are killing it, and it's awesome what they're doing. But that's just me. All right. You guys were mentioning video games, or you guys were mentioning games. The Nightmare. I know I brought it up before in the past, but
the
Nightmare game is so hilarious to watch.
So funny.
And it was because some of my friends got really into it. It was hilarious to watch them freak out. So puzzles. So like the things that you have to take apart, like the rings, you have to dislodge the ring.
Oh yeah.
I love those things. I still love them.
I did too.
Oh, they make me feel like an idiot.
Same.
You can buy them at the
Cracker Barrel.
Oh yeah, I know you can still get them, which is
Houston.
Awesome.
The Houston Museum of Natural Science. They always had little.
Oh yeah.
Those weird games. Oh man.
So I've been digging. There's a couple now that it's a cylinder. It's a metal cylinder, and you have to do it by feel, and you have to unlock something, but you don't know if it's unlocked until the very end, and whether you.
There are some simplified versions
God.
of that, but I have found some 3D printable ones online.
Ooh.
Well,
It's
you
like
know
a
what
safe.
to get. For
Like a safe, you have to feel if it.
It's basically it's a cylinder, and as you're twisting it, you slowly twist it, and you kind of move it, and it slowly moves out. But
it's a maze.
Very simple. You would just keep slowly
Right.
pulling it out. But on sometimes, like when they start getting complicated, it may pull out, and then you have to twist, and you have to figure out you have to push it back in to make it back around.
Yeah.
So it's literally a maze on a cylinder that you cannot
can't
see
see.
where your thing is. Yeah,
Right.
and it's
Oh my God.
Sounds like a nightmare.
That's what I want to try next. So, and then you guys were mentioning like foam and all that. Remember the sticky hands?
Yeah.
Yes.
Michael
Freeze,
Scott.
they've done.
Yeah.
Stick them
Oh
on
yeah.
the
It was only
Yes.
3 years.
Yes.
And then the last thing that I there's for the plush toys, we had a Tutty Ruxpin that you put the tape
Yes.
in.
You were afford what they were. It was in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the
So
stuff of nightmares.
You could make it the stuff of nightmares.
you could.
He and I had
My sister did it for Michael Jackson all the time. It was kind of weird.
There's lots of what they call emergent gameplay with.
Yeah.
And then the last thing for that too was the Pound Puppies. I remember Pound Puppies were.
Wrinkle
Oh yeah.
Pound Puppies.
Yeah, they were.
Speaking
They
of
were
puppies.
creeps.
Wig.
So
Puppy.
yeah. Anyway, that's my list.
I like
Awesome.
I love.
Do you have any honorable mentions there, Parker?
Yeah, I have two. I have Lincoln Logs, which are
Yeah.
amazing. I played the shit with those because those were
Mhm.
fun. And
You're-
Tinker Toys. Amazing.
None of these surprised
I
me
don't think
because
I ever
know
had
your
Tinker
dad.
Toys.
Yeah, I had Tinker Toy. I mean, just building things. So much fun. Building like carousels and like boats and cars and just whatever I wanted. So much fun.
Just FYI,
So
if
much gameplay.
anybody listening knows a teacher in your life, get them those because those are super awesome in a
Yep.
classroom. That's like all I'm looking for now are just like basic building toys that don't have a lot of guidelines that kids can just create with. They're awesome.
Yep.
Nice.
Kids don't have enough of that stuff nowadays.
So you mentioned Tinker Toys and stuff, and my boys actually got a Connect set. It's the newer version, and they don't
Connect
make too
set's
many of
fun.
them. But like it fucking makes a roller coaster, and like it's got a rubber band. You basically just pull the little car back, and I mean it goes.
It's
And I'm
pretty
like,
cool.
Oh yeah,
this
you
is
can
fucking awesome.
add kinetics to it. It's those are really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's new
So-
age, newfangled stuff for these kids.
Something, and I forgot to bring this up, and I'm surprised no one else did,
Grandpa.
particularly the ladies on the show. I had quite a collection between my brother and I. My mom definitely helped with this because I think she secretly was really into it and kind of got us into it so that it was okay for her to buy it. Care Bears.
Fuck yes.
I think my mom still has a ton of Care Bears somewhere.
have-
So
I have one.
It's a garbage can.
I have
In fact, Nicholas is sleeping with I think Birthday Bear,
He
the
has
original
Birthday
Birthday Bear,
it was
in
Christie's.
his bed right now.
Yeah, it was Christie's.
Why? Well, I think I had the one. I had the blue one. I loved Gloomy Bear because I was
Yep.
a wee kid and he was my favorite one.
What was the one? What's the name of the one with the sleepy one? So it's just Sleepy, Bear.
Green.
Yeah.
Sleepy.
Aren't they like the
Bedtime?
Seven Dwarfs?
Yeah, I think so.
Kinda, yeah.
Like
I like
modern
some
day
Some of them have
generation.
like some
Like
of
all
them have
cousins.
like playful heart and like
Yeah,
tender
I
heart
like
and
that.
stuff.
That was the next year, and they were all cousins. I liked
Okay.
that one.
So
Okay, the cousins were the other animals, though. Anyway,
But
Yeah.
I had the
Lion,
night. I
yeah.
had the sleepy one, which I feel like is very fitting. But yeah, someone got him for me. But it
Yeah.
was like an original one.
They were like a
Yeah, do you guys remember the Garbage Pail Kids?
oh yes,
You love
That was
those.
something that-
I was never allowed to have any Garbage Pail Kids.
Neither was I.
no. They were like the
There's-
demented
yeah,
version of Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Cabbage Patch.
Another honorable mention, Magic the Gathering.
Ah, yes. Yes.
Can we
I
throw that in too?
always
Is
wanted
that
to
okay?
watch. Or always play. I've always wanted to play. Never
Always,
Same
and
here.
it's fun to watch too. There's still tournaments going on too.
Yeah.
On Twitch, you can always find Wizards of the Coast. Always on Twitch.
Nice.
There was a Canadian in the final for the world. Was it 2 years ago?
Nice.
Go Canada!
Woo!
Then,
Yeah. Hey.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've definitely kind of run long on this, but I mean it's a nostalgia show, so you know.
Yeah.
Deal with it. Listen
Let's
to
get
this
running
and
through
feel.
our. Let's run through our picks and pans real quick. Would anyone like to go first?
yes,
All right, Parker, what's your pick and or pan?
I need to pan. There's a video game called Star Citizen. It's still
Oh, I
in
knew
alpha,
this was coming.
and I have to bitch at people that consistently bitch that an alpha game that's still in development in alpha is slow and buggy and has problems with the game. It's an alpha. It's in development. Fucking
Got-
relax.
We got that.
You got the
Get into that mic a little.
We're good.
Yeah, some AMSR.
That's all I had to say. Because
Mm.
it annoys the shit out of me that people can't understand that. So, it's an alpha. It's a game. They're letting us play it while it's in development. Just fucking relax, okay?
There you go.
That's my pan.
I'm gonna jump in real quick. I've got two picks for the week. Number one is Ready Player One. We had a quick discussion about it before the show. We may have to have a more in-depth discussion about it some other time, but I enjoyed it. It is not the book. It is a lot different than the book, but if you're able to enjoy it for what it is, just for the nostalgia that it brings to the table, definitely go see it. I think it has the heart of the book in it. Thank goodness it did not. It didn't do like some of these other things, but yeah. So that's one of my two picks. The other pick I have is it's only 6 episodes, but if you like cooking shows and you like Instagram fails, go check out Nailed It on Netflix. That show. Okay, the host is a little much.
Nicole Byer, she's the best part. I love her.
She's a little much. No,
she's
the
the
chef
worst part.
that slowly starts to come out of his shell. He's the best.
Yeah, Quinn's watched it at least 3 times. He loves it. Yeah,
and I love the fact that it's not. Yes, they're all laughing and cutting up, but they're not putting them down, and it's not. And it's not like, okay, well, you're out. It's not. It doesn't take itself serious by any means. It's like, and I actually have learned some stuff. Like when they'll sit there and look over and they're like, why are they doing that? Oh, well, the way you should be doing this. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Like a lot of these other cooking shows, you don't get that. Like they're just like, oh, well, your technique here, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they don't really kind of go into it. This actually kind of gives you some tips here and there. And I'm like, Netflix really needs to continue on with this. I mean, they're kind of doing this thing where they put out 6 episodes, see how it does, and then keep going. And as much positive buzz as this show has gotten, I'm hoping it continues on. But yeah, it
is. They got renewed for a 2nd season.
Okay, it is hilarious, some of these things that they come up with, because you're just like, that was a nice try.
As somebody who bakes and loves baking, some of it's like, oh no, oh god. Oh, I can't watch. The guy who put the chocolate chips in the microwave for 5 minutes. I'm like,
oh my god.
Yes.
Why would you do that?
Yes.
No, get him out of the kitchen. Just I can't watch.
Oh god.
Yep.
Some of it's like
I can like smell what that ended
The
up.
woman
like.
who was baking the cake and forgot to put flour in.
the ones that were like, if I fill it up, it'll be taller. And you're like, no, it won't cook if you do that. And you don't have enough time. The ones that ice the cakes when they're just piping hot.
When they're still hot.
And
Start
then they
cutting them when they're still hot, like a fucking monster.
Oh,
Unacceptable.
So yeah, if you have not watched Nailed It on Netflix, go check it out. It's definitely worth a watch.
And they
Lainey, do
you
have a pick or pan for the week?
Yeah, actually, and I'm gonna kind of jump off of yours. I have another Netflix series. So hopefully everybody has already watched the new series of Queer Eye.
Yeah,
I've started it. I have not finished it.
I have watched the entire thing 2.5 times.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I love it. I love it so much. It's so good. Funnily enough, I hadn't watched it, and Eugene got me to watch the first episode with him. And like 5 minutes in, I looked over at him and I was like, am I going to cry? And he goes, yeah, you're going to cry.
Yeah.
And I did. And I've cried on every single episode. It's so good. It is so good.
Does this?
No, you're not.
Oh my God. I love it so much because I like that they actually like get to know them and they get to know their family, and like there's like an actual like connection made between. Yeah. It's really sweet and they're adorable and it's so much fun to watch. And like I really genuinely like the 5 guys that they got.
Yeah.
They're super fun, and now it's introduced me to Jonathan Van Ness, who I'm obsessed with, and started following on Instagram, and he has taught me so much.
Yeah.
I bought a jade face roller the other day because of him. Like I love it. It's so good and it's so sweet, and it has saved 2018 for me.
It's fun. It's a fun, nice show.
It's a really, really sweet little show.
It really helped me. I was in a really bad funk, and watching that.
It will get you out of a bad mood.
Yes.
It really will.
I genuinely feel better about.
If you're having a shitty day, just go watch it because they're so sweet, and they're making real connections with these people, and it's awesome. I love it.
You like the cop? Yeah.
That was a good episode. But that's the thing too, is they hit on like real issues too, like the police brutality issues that we've been having, the Black Lives Matter movement, the issues with, accepting gay people in the South with like it's like a really religious.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
You know, and it's really cool. It gives you a little bit more like faith in humanity, which I think we kind of need right now. So, but I love it. It's really good. It's so wonderful. Plus, like that guy on that very first episode, I found out the guy on the very first episode. Spoiler alert: he got engaged.
He did. They did. Yes, they did. Him and Abby.
To his ex-wife?
To his ex-wife. Yes. They're getting married.
Nice.
Yeah, he was so cute.
He was precious.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh, I love it so much. So,
Chris, do you have a pick or pan for the week?
I have some picks. So I do. So it's Quinn's birthday yesterday. He turned 10. So
awesome.
Quinn.
And then today we went to our friend's house for brunch, and they have a little girl who's almost 7 years old, and her name is Quinn.
Spelled differently.
She's half Vietnamese. So there they are. There's Quinn and Quinn.
Couple of Quinn.
Nice.
Quinn.
Hard to see it, but yeah.
Yeah, she's a very serious baby, though. She's super cute, but it was really hard to get.
She's super serious.
Her dad said that. She's a serious baby.
She's serious.
Serious baby.
Yeah. She was
It's almost gotta be serious.
Smelled so good, and I just
Wanted to eat her.
I could have eaten her. I really could have.
Yeah.
She had really chunky legs, and you just. And
Was
then,
she a good fat baby?
No, she was small.
She's
but
a little baby.
I love when they're like little though, and like they just
like the
feel
fat
like
baby
soft.
rolls.
Oh
Yeah,
my!
fat baby
I had
rolls
a
are
nephew.
cute.
He was
Fat baby
Fat
roll.
baby rolls.
He was
He was
fat
a
bastard
turkey.
fat. Like he
They
was.
look
Yeah.
like little Michelin man arms.
But,
I love it.
Little Quinn, we call her baby Quinn. So she's almost 7 months old, but she only weighs 14 pounds. So she's bitty.
Oh.
She's very big.
Wow.
But her
parents
mom,
are both really small.
Yeah, like Vicky is 5 feet tall, and Jeff is like
5'2".
5'4". No,
Damn.
so she's gonna be short. Logan's taller than Jeff.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Taller than me.
Yeah, she's tall. And then we started ripping out our kitchen.
Yay!
I saw that.
I'm happy about it. Not so much him because he's doing the majority of the work, but
Reno season.
Yay.
Winter is coming.
I'm very happy.
Spring is coming.
Awesome.
You? I love.
And it's
Ray-
cold, so it doesn't help. But anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ray, do you have a pick or pan for the week?
Yeah. I'll start with my pan. Nintendo Switch Online for Kids is such a pain in the ass to set up. I need your help, Eugene, because
I haven't set it up, so this will be a learning experience for both of us.
because
This isn't a pan. It's just him asking Eugene for some advice.
it's a pan because I spent like a half hour on it today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just gave up because it made no sense to me at all. Because you can set up the kids' accounts, you can't set them up online, and that doesn't make any sense to me. So like they can play as themselves if I'm online with them, but if they want to go play Splatoon 2, they have to play local. They can't play online. It says that they don't have an account. So anyway, that was my pan because Nintendo, just make it a yes or no. Am I allowed to play online? Yes. Or anyway.
He was not happy before the show started.
No.
Picks. Obviously, Quinn Day was a good one. And then Roseanne is back, and I know that Eugene hates it.
Oh.
Well, I was really excited until.
You know what though? Even though I know the whole Trump supporting thing, the show's not about that, which is what I liked.
No,
what I liked about it was just a way of showing families that, you know what, you can be split and you can come back together, and that was kind of cool. And the other part of it is I love Dan. That's one of my favorite characters.
Dan.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite characters because he says all the shit that I'd love to be able to say to the kids or to Chris or whatever. Like it's hilarious. So you have to admit it's hilarious.
Well, you heard it here first.
No, I know, you know what I mean though. Like I don't get
it here, folks.
I just mean like he comes up with it's obviously a scripted show and all that stuff, but I wish I could be that witty. It
understand that,
and it's awesome.
Well, John Goodman is a funny man, so.
Oh yeah. his delivery is awesome. But they touch on some other stuff too, and John Goodman's character Dan obviously reminds me of my dad a bit.
Yes.
And there is a child on the show that is he's experimenting and with clothes more than anything, but he's expressing himself as more feminine, and Dan's having a harder time with it. But in the way that he deals with it, I see my dad through that.
Yes.
And so it's kind of this whole acceptance of that. And that's why I thought it was kind of cool. It's not just about the whole Trump thing or anything like that. It's the series just continued. It's like it hasn't been off the air, and you click it and you're right back into it. And that's what I love about it. So
except Dan's not dead, and I really appreciate that.
Yes. Why does everybody think I'm dead?
The way that they explained all of that was perfect.
Yes.
The way that they explained it all was perfect. So I enjoyed it. And then the Santa Clarita Diet. We're watching the next season on that one, and it's
I haven't watched it. Christy watched the first season and enjoyed it, so
second one's out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's a fun.
It's pretty much the only zombie thing I can actually watch.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can't watch anything else.
I have no interest.
I'm still trying to talk Chris into watching it, but anyway.
No. No.
He's like, but you watch Stranger Things. I'm like, that is completely
totally different.
Not much.
No.
Yes, it is.
No.
Not much.
Oh my God. Absolutely not. No. You could not pay me. Absolutely not.
No, and I don't believe. I believe Lainey. I do not believe you.
Eugene, how
it's
far?
It's a good movie.
No.
How far off though? How far off Stranger Things is it? Not much.
Stranger Things isn't scary.
No, it's a bit rougher than Stranger Things, horror wise.
Not that much.
You're full of shit.
More head games than anything.
No, I can't watch shit like that. You know that. I couldn't even watch Paranormal.
No. Chris and I
Paranormal away. He literally had to turn the computer away from me so I couldn't even see the lights flickering.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, Chris and I feel like are enough alike that's going to scare the shit out of her, and she's going to be jumpy for months. So don't do that.
Get nightmares, and then who's going to be up with me because I'm freaked the fuck out.
Yeah, then don't do that to yourself, dude.
I told her we watch it during the day, full day. Let's just.
No, get nightmares.
No, because you know what comes after the day, the night,
and then I have to sleep. And then my brain's going to be like, guess what we're going to think about right now? Deadly Clown.
You wanted to rest, girl? Guess what?
You know what the best part is? That was filmed in Canada, and actually we could drive to the town that it was filmed in.
See, why the fuck did you tell me that?
He really doesn't want to show it to you, clearly.
What's it filmed?
I don't remember what it is.
Because as soon as she's like, okay, I have to go run to the bathroom real quick. Nope, not doing that.
And I'm going to die.
You're never going to this town.
That's it. Now we're done.
And I'm just going to pee the bed. All right. So that's it for our show this week, ladies and gentlemen. If you would, please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Music. You can also check out our other shows, the Marginally Geeky Show. We should be recording one here in a couple of weeks for what is it? Confessions of a Ugly Stepsister. That's right. That's the one we're currently working on. New episode of Epic Rhythm and Brews just dropped a week or so ago here. And our next episode should be here in about 2 weeks. Not quite sure where our topic's going to be. Got to figure that out. But that should be fun. As always, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Epically Geeky. Where can we find you online, Lainey?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at It's a Ladybird. You can also find me over on Epic Rhythm and Brews. And like Eugene said, we did just drop an episode a couple weeks ago. It's a continuation of our Decades with Dummies series. We finally hit up the 70s. It's pretty good. We'll be coming at you with another one here in the next few weeks, hopefully.
Nice.
If we can get our shit together.
Oh, yeah. Actually, like next week.
Oh, are we coming out with one next week?
Yeah.
We'll see.
That's news to her. Parker, where can we find you online? That's right, we can't. Except on the Epic Rhythm and Brews show.
You can find me on the Epically Geeky website and as well as Epic Rhythm and Brews.
Ray, where can we find you online?
Not much lately.
See?
The Lake Life
Same
artist,
person.
on Instagram is pretty much it. That's really all I post, and I haven't posted there in a long time. Again, just because life. So.
Yep, life.
Yeah, you know.
Chris, where can we find you online?
Marginally Geeky, and Epically Geeky. And I have an Instagram. It's called Cedar Birch Cottage, and I'm showing our kitchen renovation, and it's DIY and minimalism.
Yep, and I've been following it, and I'm just like, yep, glad I'm not doing that right now.
It's awesome. I love it.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
No,
I love it.
You're doing a lot of work. Like right now, I've been in repairman hell, just trying to take care of like all these little things that keep coming up, and I'm just like, I bought an Xbox One S, and I'm like, I really want to sit down and play some video games, but I'm like, I've got all this other shit to do. So, but, and if you want to find out what's going on in my life, with all this stuff that I'm working on, smoking briskets, repairing proton packs, you can find my individual wacky adventure online at Optimus Gene on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For everyone on the site, have a good night.